Oh, did you see that one thing? Somebody said that about what he said, 7,000 immigrants are better than one Melania.
That's crazy.
A reporter said that.
That's brutal day. Just brutal. That's brutal day.
We're up.
Oh, come on. I still have more jokes.
You got more jokes. Those are jokes?
We were looking for a picture on the front of our app, and we were having a good time with that one.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be interesting too. I just thought about it when it comes to attorneys. It's ready to go for that too. The full one. It's ready to go for any service.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We could literally.
We're on broadband.
No, I know. We could rate the same way we rate anything else.
I know.
So, Tracy Morgan got hit by the Walmart truck. He gets $100 million is kind of what everybody's saying.
Oh, I heard he got so much money. It was one of the largest personal injury.
So he was at the first game of the, not the Nuggets, who's the Knicks basketball game. Of course, he's front row sitting down there. And one of the main guys from Coca-Cola was there, one of these top guys from Coca-Cola, Tracy Morgan. He's so quick, right off the cuff goes, I wouldn't mind if one of your trucks hit me either.
Fucking funny. That is funny.
It is unbelievable. He's so fast.
He was really hurting, though, wasn't he?
Oh, my God. His rehab was years. I think the first 6 months to a year, he was like hospital. And then he was like really slow. Yeah. Have you ever had a client that you watched come back from a traumatic brain injury? It's just really slow, isn't it?
No other. It's very slow. But
did they fully recover, or
No.
No, man.
No.
That's what's sad.
No.
God, have you had your name? If your name was Jim McVeigh, and you're in the public relations business, wouldn't you change your name?
Fuck yeah.
What was that other guy's name?
Oklahoma City Bomber.
What was it? It wasn't Jim.
No, it wasn't Jim.
But it was.
It was still McVeigh.
Tim McVeigh. Yeah.
It was McVeigh. Who was the other guy who got the? No, they both got death penalty. No,
But
one of them's alive.
I thought one of them.
Barry
Nichols.
There you go. No, McVeigh got lethal. I thought he was in.
He waived all his.
Yeah, he got the fast
Mark,
track.
these downloads
He
Mike
did
gave us, those are the most recent downloads for me.
Yes. Well, our next version will be. Really, after the show, we have got to plow through that shit.
No, I will. I'll give it my full priority. Okay.
And then we really got to start setting up fucking meetings. If we got to start flying all over the country,
Well, Mark,
let's
I'm
just fucking do it.
taking care of that one, the one part. Okay. And I promise you, I can take care of all that, and you can watch, and you can be in on every one of them.
Yep.
I already started the wheels rolling. One guy's out of the country. He'll be back in touch with me.
Is it a company, or did you find an organization that's got numerous companies?
I did both. This company has affiliates, either owned or partially owned, all over the country in every state. So it's really the one we want to start with for our beta.
Hey, John, were you the one that had friends and you guys would make stupid bets and then you had to do
No,
things?
I'm telling you, it wasn't Fuller. We had a guy in here, and it was the funniest shit ever. What did they bet?
Well, like he had to go hold a sign up for like 6 hours. We'll work for food.
No, it was.
Well, you were doing that. That was college job. No, okay.
Wait a minute.
I'm kidding.
There was one movie where the guy had to, Bruce Willis had to stand out in Harlem or somewhere with a sign.
Oh no, that was no, and it said the N-word. That was no, it was a great movie. There was 2 or 3 of them. Bruce Willis, Die Hard. It was a Die Hard. It was a brutal movie. I'll tell you, a real brutal movie. That stupid Gaga one sucked. Was it bad? He okey-doked me. He wrote me.
Everybody is raving about it. It's a formula. It's a formula movie. Boy meets girl, and boy discovers
patient with Elaine.
English patient.
Singer eclipses him. And then, it's just, God.
He didn't even care that she eclipsed him.
No, he did. That's why he was getting drunk and all that.
No, he was drunk to begin with. I totally disagree with you on that. He was stone cold drunk at the beginning.
Right. But I don't know, it fucked him up somehow.
It sucked. Don't go see it. And I will say this: we went and saw Halloween right after it.
It's a romantic movie, and there's nothing
Worst Halloween I've ever seen.
Everything is predictable. Everything. Mark, why don't you go to see Venom? That fucking movie is great.
Because I love the Halloweens up till this one. Jamie Lee Curtis looks like a. It just wasn't that scary.
Because you're tougher.
This is the Troubleshooter Show.
Text my wife. Mark says Halloween stuff.
Now,
She likes Halloween too. It was probably the worst one I've seen ever.
I am Tom Martino, your troubleshooter, with the only show of its kind anywhere in the universe. How many people can say that? And the longest running show on radio with the same host currently on the air. How many people can say that? One. Welcome. Recovering millions of dollars in cash, merchandise, exchanges, refunds, and services. And I'm going to do this hour dedicated to health. This hour brought to you by Centeno Schultz. We also have coming up Revitalized Health and Bright Light Chiropractic. These are important services, and I chose them for a very specific purpose. First of all, with stem cells, there's all kinds of phony balonies out there. Don't fall for them. Centeno Schultz is the deal. Tomorrow night, they have a seminar in Broomfield. It's worth the drive. Or you can get your own evaluation. What we do here is solve problems. We answer questions. We take complaints. One of the complaints we get often is about health care, all kinds of health care, botched surgeries, people who don't like the results of something, and there are so many disclaimers. I'm going to talk to John Fuller, he's our guest today, on what disclaimers can and cannot do, and are they reasonable. Disclaimers in general. There are so many of them. Okay, Centeno Schultz. Call them for a seminar or to get yourself evaluated. They extract your own stem cells and use them and deliver them with guidance, with imagery. There is no such thing as living stem cells shipped into clinics. They're all liars. They're all thieves, in my opinion. The chiropractors especially, who tell you you're getting stem cell therapy, and that's every one of them. If they ship in fluids, you don't have living stem cells. Go see Centeno Schultz, 303-963-9201. Stem cell for pain, for arthritis, for bad joints, 303-963-9201. And that's Centeno Schultz. Now, let's talk about your problem, Mark, with Mako. What's going on, Mark?
Thank you for all that you and your staff do.
We try. We really try. What's going on now? Mako is, of course, world known, really it is, for car refinishing and car bodywork, but it's also known a little bit as a fast food kind of place. What's going on with you?
Okay, basically I set up ahead of time to get my bumper cover replaced. I had them painted ahead of time. They said it would be an hour or two.
What is a bumper cover?
Put it on.
What is a bumper cover?
It's not the bumper itself. It's the plastic part on the outside that gets damaged when you hit stuff.
Okay, gotcha. And so, why did you pick Mako?
Because they were willing to paint the bumper ahead of time. I used my car for work.
I was
to wait for it.
I get it.
They going to do it.
What happened?
So, they said it would take 2 hours, 1 to 2 hours. I went there at 8. At 12:30, they said my car was done. I went to pick it up. The bumper was still hanging out where it
Well, wait a minute. Why would they tell you it's ready?
Because they wanted me to then replace the fender. I had already gotten 2 estimates for the whole repair, which I was not willing to do.
But, Mark, what I don't understand is this. They said, Mark, your car's ready, come get it, and your bumper had not even been installed. Is that right?
No, the bumper was installed. There was a piece that was hanging out. It looked as bad as it did when I brought it in. And they texted me and they said, unfortunately, we weren't able to tuck your bumper in and that you need additional repairs, meaning the fender needed to be replaced. I talked to the shop manager. I only wanted the bumper cover done. He said he could do it. When I went back to pick up the car,
so in other words,
this is important.
Okay.
This is important. Just real quick.
Go ahead.
The shop manager came and talked to me about the car. He brought a little coworker in. They offered to do a little touch-up on the fender and the hood, and they said they could tuck in the bumper. I waited another...
But hold on. What you're telling me, Mark, I have a simple question. Why didn't you just say to them, forget everything if they can't do it right? You can continue your story, but here's what I'm saying. They shouldn't charge you a dime. You go away and say, forget it. Could you do that?
No, they wanted me to pay for the work that they had already done, and they wouldn't finish my car. So I waited another 3.5 hours. I waited 7.5 hours when it was supposed to take 1 to 2 hours. At 3:30, the guy that was working on my car, they said they would finish these few things. They offered that. I did not ask for that, okay? The guy came to me in the front, said, I'm really busy. I can't finish your car. It can be fixed. You're going to have to come back another day. I was upset, obviously.
All right. Where is it right now, Mark? Where does it stand right now? Right now.
I took the car. They are holding my key fob as hostage. The key fob costs as much as the repairs. They will not return the key fob to me, and they expect me to pay the full price of the repairs when it's not finished to get my key fob back.
All right. Now, the repairs they were supposed to do by contract, in writing, did they do?
Tom, the estimate wasn't even done when I was there. I left, and they did the estimate after and sent it to me. It's my fault. I probably didn't look at it, but when I came back to pick up the car, they said, well, we're willing to do this, this, and this. They offered it, and then they took that away and said, no, you have to pay now. We're not going to finish your car.
Okay, what do they want you to pay for?
I guess what's on the contract.
Okay, hold on. No, what I'm asking is, what have they actually completed?
They put the bumper cover on. There's part of it that's still hanging out.
But the part that's hanging out, I don't understand that part. And without stories, what do you mean hanging out? Is it broken? What do you mean hanging out?
There's a part that is not attached to the car, and that's how it looked when it came in. They put a new bumper cover on, and it's not completely on.
Okay, why?
Because the fender didn't fit. I understand that.
Then how? That's what I'm saying. If it requires additional work to secure the bumper, then why do you expect them to do it without the additional work?
Because they told me they could do it, and then they told me they didn't have enough time, and then my only choice was to pay for the full amount and come back and get it done. I was not willing to do that after 7.5 hours of waiting.
Here's what I think. I think they should be paid for painting the bumper, period, and for putting that back on. And if it takes additional repair, you should be able to go anywhere to get that done.
And he said the contract says exactly that. And it sounds like they lived up to their part of the contract.
But, Mark, I don't know what we're missing, but... because I know that you...
Tom.
No. You see, Mark, and this is something I have to get across, okay, to Mark and everyone else, and I hope you're listening. I hear you. People think because I interrupt to keep a story moving, I don't hear you. I heard you. You were pissed off about waiting. You wanted the bumper fixed, and what I'm hearing is they did it, but they didn't do it right. But because they said they could do it, now you expect them to do additional work. I mean, that's what I'm hearing, Mark. And
incorrect.
Okay, where am I incorrect?
Said that they would do the additional work, and then the office manager refused to do that work and wanted me to pay when the shop manager said they were going to complete it.
Okay, I believe that they don't owe you that extra work, even if they said they were going to do it. I think the office manager had the right to trump it. And at the risk of being very boring right here, because this show is getting into technical areas people don't give a damn about, what you paid for, you got. And you didn't look good enough, you didn't stick around for the estimate, and I think you're between a rock and a hard place, and it's not so cut and dry. Right now, they should be paid for what they did. Are they willing to give you your key fob if you pay for what was done?
Correct.
Then I think you should, Mark. And please don't say I don't understand. They should, but you're thinking they promise. You know, John Fuller, we get this a lot. Where people say, no, we get this, where people are unhappy, and somebody in the field says, oh, we'll take care of that. They say that. And then they go back to the boss, and the boss said, no way, we're not doing this, we did enough, just have her pay for what we did, and we're done. And the homeowner says, they promised they were going to take care of it. Now, it's outside of the contract, blah, blah, blah. What do you think? What do you think, John?
Well, I mean, the mistakes that were made here were made in the beginning.
Right.
You know, that's the reality here, is that nothing is in writing, nothing has been reduced to a contract, nothing is enforceable,
well,
and so you're left to the whim of the office manager saying that's not part of what we're going to include with our price.
I don't think he can hold them to it. I think he needs to pay for what was done.
I'm going to call over to Mako.
Okay.
I'd like to hear what they have to
Mark,
say.
we're going to call for you, okay? So hang on. Bill, you have something to say? Go ahead, Bill. Welcome.
Hey, Todd.
Yes,
thanks
sir.
for taking the call. Lee over at Eco Clean Home Services.
Yeah.
Top-notch guy.
I love them. You know what? They're good people.
Yeah, and Lee's a great guy. He came over to my house on the weekend. Actually, it was Monday, yesterday. Serviced my furnace, sucked out my ducts, cleaned us up, got us ready for the baby. It's awesome. We got allergen-free, mold-free place now.
You have to get those done at least, in my opinion, every 4 years for sure, especially when you first move in, no matter what, just so you know where you stand. And in new construction, if you don't get it done, Bill, you can diminish the life of your furnace by 30%. Just turning it on, because debris gathers during construction. Sometimes they use those furnaces to warm up the house for drywall, and you have a crap load of problems. So I'm going to give you a consumer tip for everyone listening, not just in Colorado, but in colder climates. It's best to buy a home that was constructed during spring and summer and fall. Why? You do not want drywall, concrete, and other things being done with artificial heat or getting the hot part of the day and trying to get it done. They rush. It's never as good. Never. You write this down. That home should be constructed during spring, summer, and fall, not dead of winter. I don't care what precautions they say they took. Now, when it comes to furnaces, by the way, Fix It 24/7 is offering $800 off a furnace. But you have to call today to schedule an appointment. That doesn't mean you're obligated to buy it when you call. But if you call for an appointment, you're only going to pay $39 to check out your heating system. If you need a furnace, if it needs to be repaired, you'll be presented with a complete estimate, and you'll never pay more than $39 if you decide not to do it. But if you go ahead with a furnace, you don't pay the $39, plus they knock $800 off. That's Fix It 24/7. Value and service. 720-526-3939, 720-526-3939.
When I see you rolling your eyes, I know the audience is rolling its eyes. I see it.
You guys were all over each other.
You are my barometer.
It's really hard when
You're right.
Both people are talking at the same time, and I'm just like, whatever, dude. I can't understand anymore.
Most of the time, though, I'm right.
You miss a lot in conversations.
Hey!
But it's...
I don't miss a lot. I want important stuff, John. You miss important stuff more seriously.
And I know why, too. I mean, it's not that you're not paying attention, it's that you're doing a lot of other shit at the same time.
No, I mean, I don't mean a specific. I mean an example, like when I'm taking the problem in initially, and then I ask about it, and you already told me.
No, people are telling their story, and I know what you're doing is you're telling somebody to get so-and-so on the phone, call Fuller up, blah, 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 and you can't possibly do both, you know, at the same time. So there are many instances where things get missed. I don't see how you can't, you know.
On a scale from 9 to 10, how effective are you? Also do treatment for your thyroid.
But that is completely garbage when everybody's at the same time. You just can't hear what the hell's going on. I suspect what you're going to hear is this guy was a complete ass over at Mako, and everything just went to hell in a handbasket. And
I had talked to him earlier, and he even said that the wife of the owner
They also
got mad at him.
I can't imagine why.
I tell you what, being nice gets you.
Oh man, like
2302. Or how about
I know.
the Hormone Bros.
It's amazing people don't. They can turn
you will love the
bad situation to good just by
absolutely the therapy you need to stay young and healthy.
Like I had a thing, the trolling motor on my boat went out, and you know, I took it to the only freaking authorized person in the whole state of Colorado to fix it, which was the guy up in Windsor. He fixed it. I take it back up to Wyoming, put it back on the boat, launch the boat, get out in the water. The damn thing doesn't work. Okay. So I called the guy, and you know, it's a perfect opportunity to be a complete ass, right? And
wasted my whole weekend.
well, yeah, I mean, I couldn't use my boat anymore that weekend, so it sucked. It kind of pissed me off because I'd missed the previous weekend because the motor went out in the first place. And but I approached it very low key and nice, you know. The guy felt so bad about it when I took it back to him. He's like, I'll fix it free of charge. He's like, and I'll bring it down to your house, you know, when I'm done with it. So the guy's going to drive 35, 40 miles away to just come deliver it and stuff. And it's like, you didn't have to do that. Right?
Do that, and then the next time too.
All right, I got a message into the
right person.
Yeah.
I get a email here.
Yeah.
Shutterstock saying, looking for photos. We have the solution. Now, why do I get that today?
Because we just did that.
Yeah, but how did they know, and how they get my email, and how they send me an email saying we're looking for photos?
Right? Are they owned by the iStock? They're probably owned by iStock.
Did you guys ever get your web presence straightened out on Emily's List or something where they were never?
Oh, we sued them.
Did you?
We're in the middle of a federal lawsuit right now.
Really?
Yep.
Nice.
In fact, we just made them an offer yesterday.
Yeah.
They want to know what we want to settle for.
Yeah. They totally violated our.
Oh, they know they're fucked.
Right.
Well, they know they violated our trademark. I mean, they did.
Right.
Plus,
The question is, what is it worth? Am I valuable?
Right.
Is my service valuable?
They've also right
It's
now
not
are
whether
going
they
through
make
so
money
many
on it.
lawsuits.
It's what would the value of that endorsement be?
Did they think you're between a 9 and 10 as well? Or?
I told them on a scale from 9 to 10, rank me on my job.
9.8
or something, you know.
This guy on Facebook is looking for the guy who comes to his house for tires, but we don't have any.
No, tell him he had to go out of business.
And first of all,
He had to move.
I don't think anybody else will take that space because you can't make money.
No, it's too hard. He had health problems. He had to move to sea level.
Home delivery.
Great guy, though.
No. He didn't sell tires. That's the other stupid thing.
No, he did. He did.
But
he didn't do it well.
He would come to your house,
Or your business.
take off your summer tires, put on your winter tires, store your summer tires, and leave you there with winter tires. In the spring, he comes back and flips them back.
I had them like I used them here.
It's wonderful. So you're at home at work, you come out, you got your snows. And your other ones are stored.
Yeah. So,
Wonderful service wasn't charging enough.
Right.
I'm Tom Martino, your troubleshooter.
303-713-TALK, keeping with our theme of health care, revitalized health. TheHormoneBros.com. Somebody said, Tom, why did you call them the Hormone Bros? And I want to make that clear, Hormone Bros, not hoes. Hormone Bros, meaning that they are three brothers in practice together doing bio-T. They do pellet therapy, that's for testosterone and estrogen. And then they also do thyroid, that's not in the pellet form. But, hormone optimization is critical as you age. So is other therapy. And they have one that restores natural collagen to your face. It's not a filler. It stimulates the natural collagen to grow. Collagen is the stuff in your face, like that makes it full and volume, and when you start sinking, getting wrinkles, you're losing collagen. Anyway, thehormonebros.com, 470 and Ken Carl. Suzanne, she just did pellets. Deputy Dan did pellets. Of course, I've been doing pellet therapy, bio-T, for years. Suzanne, you probably won't, I said, you don't notice anything a week or 2 weeks, and then it's not like a club over the head and you say, wow, I'm feeling great. You just start noticing little things like energy and stuff like that. So, how are you feeling?
Feeling great,
It's day
Tom.
what, day 3?
No, I'm almost a week tomorrow.
Oh, okay, so you might start feeling
Yeah.
few. And then, of course, Deputy Dan, how are you doing?
I haven't really felt very much yet. So can't really say.
Okay, and then Mark, we were going to try to get to be a candidate. Mark is very reluctant to do anything when it comes to physical stuff at all. I mean, or medical or health. No, really. His theory is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Don't go looking for trouble. Really, I mean, isn't that an accurate summary? If it ain't broke, don't.
I'm not so sure I want an insertion of a pellet into my butt.
And you're not that, what do you say, proactive when it comes to stuff.
What do you mean?
No, what I mean is...
What the hell are you trying to say?
You do plenty of good practices.
Yes.
But as far as going out and being proactive...
Like what?
Well, like this therapy or doing stuff like that.
Give me any other example besides this. I don't understand what you're saying. I don't go to chiropractors because I don't have back problems. I'm not going to be proactive and go to a chiropractor.
Well, chiropractors do more than backs, but you're right.
Well, they do stem cells.
Yeah, right, yeah. Fake stem cells. Yeah, thank you very much. Mark is still on the line. You called Mako Mark for him. He wanted to know.
I did. I talked to one young lady there. I have the manager. Her name, I believe, is Judy. Ask Mark if he ever talked to Judy.
Mark, did you ever talk to a Judy over there?
Yeah, she ripped me a new one yesterday.
Wonderful. Well, I'll be hearing from her shortly.
Anyway,
I'm going to try to negotiate something.
Yeah, here's the deal. You know, Mark, we want to help you. We really do. We don't always agree 100% with consumers, and I also understand why people believe things. This is a lesson for businesses, and I hope businesses that listen to this show benefit. You are on display, even when you don't think you are. For example, if you take a cell phone call and the homeowner's in another room, or you're at your office and you take a call and that homeowner's in the waiting room or something, if they hear anything that disturbs them, they remember it. It may not have anything to do with them or their business, but you're always on display. They look at your hands. They look at your shoes. They look at your grooming. It's just the way it is. When a consumer is sensitized, that means during a transaction, they monitor and observe everything. So, especially if you make a comment like, oh, he shouldn't have done it this way. You know, you'll have a furnace guy come in, right? And he'll be making just a comment. Oh, man, I don't know why that guy framed it this way, where he's putting a ductwork. And then this homeowner freaks out. Why is my home framed this way? And they talks to the builder, and this home is under construction. Hey, this isn't framed right, you know what I mean? And then the framer comes in and says, like, oh, man, that electrician cut through this stud. He shouldn't have done that. You get all kinds of things, and homeowners are processing all this information, and they don't know what to do with it. And so when you're in business, don't make comments like, we'll take care of that, unless you mean it. You have to craft everything you say. Curtis, what's going on with you? Curtis,
yes,
you're on with Tom Martino and John Fuller? Yes.
Hey, we did a job in Lone Tree. We did Lily Avenue. They expanded and had a new shop up there.
What did you do there? What did you do?
We framed the metal studs, we did the sheetrock, and we did the tape and finish.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's going to file bankruptcy, and he's getting kicked out of the property.
Oh, wow.
And I still haven't been paid.
Are you working for a general?
No, they had hired a general.
And who hired you?
The owner himself.
The owner said, I need you to do this build out.
Yep.
And you have a contract and you put work in.
Yep.
What do you think, John Fuller? What do you think?
Lien the property.
Right. Because the bankruptcy will dissolve him of personal liability.
But not that lien on the property.
Exactly, even if he wasn't an owner. But he was doing it with authority, and he was as a tenant or potential tenant.
Yep.
So, do you know how to lien property?
Yeah, and we tried to send the lien out, and then we talked to the owner of the property himself. They had big-time lawyers, and they said that they signed some waivers that
he can't.
How long ago did you do the work?
How long ago? That's a good. When was it completed?
Last day of work was July 1st.
August, September, October. You're within your time, right? 4 months, Mark?
$120, yeah.
Yep.
Listen. This thing, what do you mean they said you couldn't lien because they signed waivers? If the general or the owner or anyone says, don't worry, we took care of everyone, So what? They're lying, and you're not bound by that. They can't bind you.
You got to lien that property.
John, I saw you shake.
Tricked you.
You've got to lien that property.
Okay.
They're only trying to delay you beyond the 120.
Exactly.
It's
Okay.
file your lien, be protected, don't worry about the bankruptcy court.
And you'll probably get paid.
And you'll be able to prevail because you perform the work and everything else. So do
We
your
got the
part.
paperwork all in order.
Right.
We're ready to do it.
But do you know how to
Okay.
file a lien? You've got to get an attorney to file a lien. He can add his fees. But file a lien immediately. Don't listen to those people tell you can't do it. And do you do, like, commercial framing and residential, or just commercial?
Just commercial.
Have you ever done wood framing?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, listen, Curtis, I will wait to hear from you after you talk about that lien, and we can help you each step of the way.
Make sure you do it right, too, man. You got to send out that 10-day notice. You got deadlines, and you got to sue them and prevail.
So, yeah, that means to get paid. If they just want to bond around it or something, then you have to start foreclosing on that lien. That means basically take it all the way through to the end. 303-713-8255, keeping in our theme of health care. I told you about the HormoneBros.com. Now I'm going to tell you about Bright Light Chiropractic. Mark made a joke. Yeah, you know what chiropractors do, stem cell therapy. Well, you know what? A lot of them do. They do fake stem cell therapy. Dr. Mike Hederscheit does not engage in anything but good old chiropractic, directed, gentle adjustments, a wonderful chiropractor for you and your family. Bright Light Chiropractic. His website's easy to remember. BrightenYourFamily.com. BrightenYourFamily.com. Use University and County Line. Just $50 for a complete set of x-rays, thermal scans, and consultation to get you started for your initial evaluation. Now that anywhere else can be $300, $50, $400. This is $50, and then your first adjustment just $25, and after that they start at $30. That's 720-583-4506. 720-583-4506. BrightenYourFamily.com.
This is Denver's Talk Station, 630 K-House, an iHeartRadio station. With Ross Community Mornings, Michael Brown afternoon.
You gonna retire in Florida, John?
I don't know, man.
Of course, on Key West.
Of course. Marcus Zero.
Where else did you retire?
I'll tell you what, depending on how this election goes, Colorado may be scratching off the list here.
Why is that?
112, 74.
Tell me about 112.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
I can talk about it.
What is it?
Yeah, so 112 is essentially putting a 2,500-foot radius, which means 5,000 feet on every side of every dwelling, every waterway in the state of Colorado, and then prohibiting oil and gas exploration.
Oh, that won't go.
Within what? Within 2,500 feet?
Yeah,
Any resident.
Any
Yeah,
residence, any
Wellington
waterway.
Webb, everybody came out. Even the liberals came out and said it's crazy.
Yeah,
And then
who
the
put it on the ballot?
thing
How'd
that
they get it
Ross
on the
was talking
ballot?
about came out yesterday and said that it's leading in the polls.
Well, that's
I'm like, are
fucking
you
crazy.
fucking kidding me?
Who could really ever? That would ruin our entire state.
Well, it would kill
99%
jobs
County.
right now.
Like 33,000 of them the day after the election.
What's another one you don't like?
I don't like the just compensation, 74.
What's that mean?
That says if the government does anything that impacts the value of my property, we're entitled to be compensated by the government.
Oh, it's basically eminent domain, right?
No,
They
it's
mean
affecting value, Mark. It's affecting,
hybrid,
not
yeah.
buying it.
Right.
It's
They're
not
not
even
buying it.
affecting your value.
No.
It's a countermeasure that was filed by the oil and gas industry to say, all right, folks, if you want to 112 us on this shit, we'll sue you for every one of you, that deprived us of our property values. But they tried it up in Oregon, and it failed miserably. They had like
I
2,000.
misspoke.
No,
With
it's
the
passed.
ADA girl.
But
It's not
in
new
the 2
laws.
years that followed
They've done more
they had like
research within the
2,000
laws to
lawsuits
figure out how to
filed for
hold
that
these
shit, and it
folks
just was a
accountable to ADA
dismal failure.
compliance.
I
So
mean,
that's
they
what
went back and
New
unpassed
research.
that
So
law.
basically, they're saying if something happens and it affects my property, for example, give me an example. Because there's a big drilling rig.
Zoning
now.
approves a Waffle House next to your house.
Got it.
Okay?
Now I can sue Denver?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
If they negatively affect your value.
Here's the.
And almost
I mean,
anything can negatively
That's kind
affect
of a
your
beautiful
value.
thing if I'm a lawyer that wants to go do those lawsuits. I mean, all I got to do is have a nice appraiser in my back pocket, and Tom's like this because, you know, whatever. I mean, it's not limited to eminent domain. It's talking about any collateral effect of government action.
I'm really pissed the more I think about this. I wonder if our mail lady threw ours out.
Mark, be nice to her.
It's Dan's ballot.
And then 73.
He voted, let me see.
Democrat all the way
Hillary.
across.
I wrote in Hillary.
He wrote in Hillary. Even though she's not running for Congress.
She should be.
So 73 basically starts a progressive tax increase on Colorado taxes at 150,000. It goes up to 500,000.
I think they disagreed on
500,000. The tax went from 4.6% flat rate in Colorado to 8.5%. So,
are you against paying your fair share for those who need?
Yes, I am.
Why are you voting 109? Yes.
Which is I am. Right here. Sign me up for that one.
Shall the debt be increased to $3.5 billion?
I know you think that elections don't matter. I think
I
they're
didn't say
critical.
something else on that.
You think not much changes from year to year.
I know that most politicians today were
No, it's massive.
Here's what I believe. Most of the council's massive.
I don't know, I was looking, I think there was something else on that.
Usually say when it comes to the
That's straightforward.
they're fucking going.
Leave it alone. Yep.
Just no, just across the board. When it comes to judges, I never retain one. Not one.
This is a good one.
I just
Proposition
automatically
111.
no on that. Automatically no on amendments, and automatically no on propositions. Do you want to know why? Because propositions can get on there by going out and get a bunch of homeless people.
Yeah, they sure can.
And so,
How do you think marijuana got passed originally?
I
The ballot
normally,
issue process is terrible. in
I
Colorado.
normally simply do no on
Which
all
is the one you
propositions.
questioned there, was it 112?
I do no on every.
No,
ballot
111,
issue.
I agree with you
I pretty much do
100%.
no on
They
every
should be
judge's
more
speech,
aggressive.
unless
I
I know
do
the
know on
judge, you know.
everything. Everything.
I'm getting to the point where I actually know judges that I went to school with and I've known that have come up through the ranks. I mean, when I first got out, I didn't know any of them. But no, I
John,
mean,
where's
there's
the
some.
conflict with judges? If you know someone who went to school with them, if you were a roommate, is that a conflict in college? What is a conflict where a judge would recuse himself?
When they have
Family
personal
members.
interests that might negatively impact their judgment, so that they couldn't impartially, you know, judge some
What if you
issue.
slept with an attorney?
Well, that's clearly, no, that's happened. We had a judge in Douglas County that was sleeping with one of the prosecutors. They're both now in the private sector, not practicing law anymore.
The Raleigh
House is for addiction treatment. I love having a sponsor like this because when I give out this number, it's for everyone touched by addiction, whether you're an addict or have one in your family. I'm Tom Martino, your consumer advocate. This is serious. If you know anyone, they can use this number for information because everything starts with information. Nothing changes on its own, okay? Things just stay the same and get worse. So, if you want to change, get information. How do I know there's a problem? What do I look for? How do I know if it's getting worse? What do I say to an addict? How much does treatment cost? What different kinds of treatment do you have? What does the Raleigh House offer? What does insurance cover? Any question, confidential, private, free. 720-893-5559. 720-893-5559. I have gotten so many people thanking me for that number, saying they could not believe the level of service they got.
You know, I'm reading one of the propositions on the ballot coming up. Do you know what 111 is? You're going to love this one. This is a consumer one.
I don't want to sound like ignorant.
No,
I don't know it by number.
This is, well, yeah, not many people
I read
do.
the issues and then decide what is it.
This is reducing the allowable charges on payday loans to an annual percentage rate of 36%.
Now, Mark, I can't believe that payday loans exist the way they do anyway. I mean, they're unbelievable.
They're predatory.
Here's the problem I have with payday loans. Once somebody gets in that cycle, it's almost impossible to get out. It's almost impossible.
It generally gets worse, and they need a bigger loan each time.
Wink and Wink tells me that some people come to them, and the only thing they did wrong was one payday loan. What do you think are the single mistakes sometimes that throw people into bankruptcy?
Medical is probably number one.
No, mistake. I said mistake.
Cars.
You're right. Upside down, negative equity is one. What's the other one? Is what you just said. Payday loans. They get into that cycle, and I swear to God, they're starting to, like, they're just starting to pay backwards, and they never have their money available. And I urge you, if you're ever in a situation like this, I'm all for screwing those people with a bankruptcy, because they are predatory. They well made their money. So those people say, oh, come on, Tom, you know, you promised to pay back, you should. Some of these people pay back 10 times the amount, are still in debt. Anyway, winkandwink.com, 303-410-1720. They are great people. Did I get that number right? Yeah. It's 410-1720, winkandwink.com. Okay, let's keep going. And this is all, we have all serious issues today, okay? We have a problem here with surgeries. Well, John Fuller's here. He's a personal injury attorney, of course, and that includes all kinds of injuries. What's going on, Nick?
Hey, Todd, thanks for taking my call.
What's going on, man?
So, October 9th, 5:30 in the morning, Tuesday, I had to have 3 surgeries. It was all done in one procedure at one time. It was
You're talking about just a few days ago, October 9th.
October 9th.
What were the 3 surgeries? Emergency?
No, well, I got diagnosed with gastroparesis earlier this year. So
what is that?
It's a stomach disease, and it's not curable. Causes you to throw up and puke a lot. Nausea, lots of nausea.
So what's going on now, sir? What's going on?
So I had the 3 procedures done on the 9th.
Okay.
You get out of the procedures, the surgeon tells me and my wife make sure he doesn't eat or drink anything, because they did some work on my esophagus.
Okay.
Not to eat or drink anything.
Okay, gotcha.
For the first 24 hours.
All right.
The nurse had me eating, putting pills in applesauce, and it was stuck in my throat. So it was causing me a lot of pain. By the time the surgeon came back in later that night, they realized that...
How much applesauce did you eat? Like a teaspoon at a time, a tablespoon, what?
I got 2 teaspoons in, and then the first one... I mean,
was it only for medication, or was she feeding you snacks?
No, it was for medication.
Okay, so where are we going with this? What happened ultimately with this?
So they realized they
screwed up.
They screwed up, and they sewed my esophagus shut.
Wait, whoa. You mean your esophagus was sewed shut from the get-go? As soon as you got out of surgery, that was shut?
Yes, sir.
And they did it by mistake?
Well, yeah, I don't assume they did that to me on purpose.
No, sure. What I mean is, there was no bypass or something that went wrong. I'm asking, like, why would they sew up an esophagus?
So when the type of... I had a corroded esophagus, it was a really bad esophagus.
But what would they normally do? What would they normally do in that situation is what I'm saying. Where does it get...
So they're supposed to tie it around your esophagus to kind of close it some to leave the acid down in your stomach, because it was coming back up. So there was a problem with it from the stomach through the esophagus.
Well, okay. So, anyway, where are we going as far as damage? What happened?
I had the 3 surgeries. Within 24 hours, they rushed me back for emergency surgery.
Because you were closed shut.
To open it.
Yeah.
The anesthesiologist wrecked my mouth. She couldn't get a breathing tube down my esophagus.
Because it was sewed shut?
Yes.
Wow.
And so they woke me back up on the table. They woke me back up to put me back under with a different guy. It was a mess. So anyways, I get out of that, and I'm shaking. Got the high fevers. I aspirated while I was having the emergency surgery.
Yeah.
A bunch of fluid got in my lungs.
And
so I ended up
in pneumonia?
The ICU. No. I ended up in the ICU, just puking and going through that whole ordeal. So what ends up being a 2-day stay for these surgeries ends up being 8 days.
Okay.
And now I'm on oxygen at home for at least 3 months, it says.
Do you have permanent damage?
I have no idea.
So what are you asking? Was this malpractice you're asking?
Yes, is it something...
Well, you know what? I mean, malpractice is something that is outside the standard of care, and something that's egregious, and something that causes, well, it doesn't have to cause permanent injury, but in order to really take it to court and pay, no one will take it with just temporary damages, unless those temporary damages were so excruciating that you lost a good part of your life as far as opportunities. But John, take it from here. What do you think, in general, what you're hearing?
Well, it sounds bad. I mean, just from 30,000 feet, it sounds like a mistake was made. It sounds bad. It's so close to the time that it happened that we don't know the rest of the story, and the rest of the story is going to really dictate kind of how you proceed from this. We want to know that you're okay or you're not okay, or you know what the effects of this are. People can make mistakes all the time. Mistakes happen. That doesn't mean, you know, necessarily that it was malpractice.
Or they're collectible.
Yeah. For instance, you know, performing a surgery where they nick a bowel or something. I mean, that happens all the time. It's a mistake. It's not cool. The malpractice is in not discovering that you had done that little damage. So it's a moving target for you, sir. The bottom line is, the only way to determine whether what happened to you was a deviation from the standard of care is to talk to other doctors that are skilled in the same area and have them tell you that no, that's not an acceptable outcome and that was a deviation from the standard of care. That's
and in order to move forward, if you ever wanted to, I'm not saying that's why you called, but in order to move forward with a malpractice, you actually have to have another healthcare professional say a similar one. Like, you can't have a dentist, you know, you have to have a similar healthcare professional say, that was malpractice. Yep, I would have never done it that way, something like that. The problem you have in Colorado is most people are insured by the same company. And they're very hesitant to make a statement about another healthcare provider because of that. And it's shunned on by, you know, it's a wink-wink kind of thing. There's no law that says, you know, you better not testify against us. But it's very difficult, and many times, just to get the initial opinion, you have to go outside the state and spend about $2,500 minimum in many cases just to get an opinion as if it's worth pursuing. Now, if you went to an attorney who truly thought, oh my God, this guy had potential income, he's ruined for life, they may front some of those costs, but you're going to be responsible. And just put it this way, malpractice is seldom even taken to court and seldom won. So it's not that you don't have malpractice. You do. There's plenty of malpractice, but very few of those cases truly prevail.
And for non-economic damages, the cap's $300,000 in Colorado, and I think the total's $1 million, right?
John? Yeah, it's not a, I mean, they're just hard cases, and people always equate a bad outcome with malpractice.
Exactly.
And it rarely is. People have bad outcomes even with the best of care all the time. Not saying that yours isn't, sir, but we're just way too early to know.
You don't even know if you have permanent damages. And Nick, without permanent damages, I heard you say what could have happened. And this coulda, shoulda, woulda, this is something, they would have done this, they should have done this, they could have done this, I could have died, they should have, I could have. Shoulda, coulda, woulda never works. It just doesn't. Shoulda, coulda, woulda never, ever, ever prevails. Now, Nick, what you need to do is first get all your medical records, monitor yourself, go see an attorney who specializes in medical malpractice and have them review it. That's the very first thing you do. 303-713-8255. Home improvements. Coming up next hour, health care. I'm talking about, and health care is something that you should never take for granted. And remember, you have referrallist.com for everyone you need. We got more coming right up.
Okay, Mark, the ones you were asking about. The reason that $3.5 billion is for doing our roads, and the bonds come out of our general fund, because if the Democrats get in there, they're going to say they want to use the general fund for other things.
Which is what they've done for years, is by pot-shotting the money that should have been used for roads.
There you go. So this forces them to use it for the general fund, so it's not a new bond issue. It's from the taxes there.
Is that Caldera's?
That's it.
Yeah.
What is it?
Proposition 109.
In fact, Caldera actually got that on the ballot.
Fix our damn roads.
Fix our damn roads.
It doesn't take a lot to get something on a ballot.
It's what?
It doesn't take a lot to get something on a ballot.
Well, I guess not. I guess. Oh, no, I thought you get it like 100,000 signatures.
75,000. 75,000. Used to be 50.
And they get people all over. And
Well, now it has to be.
You just hang out in front of a Walmart.
Right.
Well, now they have to have
And this
somebody
one,
from each
not only
district.
no,
They used
but
to
hell
could just
no.
park somebody in Boulder and say,
I'm
you
sorry,
know,
not
get rid of
only yes,
Boulder,
but
really,
hell yes.
sign here, you know.
You want me to write in hell
But
yes?
now they have to get them
You know
from all
what?
the different regions.
The
rest of them, I agree with you on everything here.
Fight these liberals in
Oh, Ross.
Anything that says raise taxes,
This
Well,
right
let's
in.
say, and this isn't raising taxes.
off,
It's
know,
just
off-cycle
that-
election.
and
It's
Ross
really
voted,
important. There's some big things
No.
that would
on,
materially change Colorado
pay
as you
loans.
know it on this
Right.
ballot.
Because he said it's basically a tax
It's
or
frightening to me.
amendment saying you're too stupid to know what to borrow.
No, that's, I don't
I
agree.
agree. I agree with you. I didn't vote. So that one I disagreed on, and same with the slavery one.
Let me tell you, they can help. When we financing to eliminate
What
mortgage
about
insurance,
73?
or consolidate high interest
Which
rates,
one?
Go to the key.
you have to worry about resetting your loan terms. So because in American financing, they offer
Look at
10,
Bill O'Reilly.
15, or 18-year loans.
Right, Bill!
No.
It truly is
Coming back.
custom
Well, I
loan.
did like his show. God, I like, it's probably my favorite show.
Most competitive interest rate. It's your mortgage.
I wonder who his ghostwriter is. Does he ever say, he's got like 50 books out there.
Oh, no, it's on the book.
Who
Ghostwriter.
wrote it?
It's not a ghostwriter. It's actually a
co-author.
Co-author. There you go. I'm sure he does.
And will customize the right
author.
program to
I didn't know they put another author.
And most authors don't give credit to their co-authors like he does.
Oh, really? Oh, no.
I mean, most of these guys don't write shit.
I'll bet you
Yeah.
he writes everything.
Well,
His co-author does.
I don't know.
You know, they're
You think he's that big of a history
Well,
buff?
they'll interview
I think
him.
it's just
They
not.
interview him. You know, they might interview him on opinions. Here's another thing. There's a Christian publisher who said that some of these big evangelists that you know that write a lot of books will come in and literally say, "What's the topic of my next book and who's going to write it?"
And here's how it works.
Oh, really?
You can lock your interest
I'm reading that.
His name Joel Osteen.
Yeah, but that's just, what's the difference between that and a sports guy selling an ad for something?
Same exact word. You are great.
Well, except that
You are great tomorrow. You can be great today.
No, I don't see any difference.
You know, I read that all the gals.
And you're
You know, his daughter came in here. He was World War II vet.
Oh, yeah.
I'm almost
God
one
made you
little
great.
left. It's a good book.
That is a
Short read, too.
Short read. Right.
What is?
I like Audible.
I mean, it
I have to go
doesn't fit any
back.
definitions. I mean, the guy's just open.
the people
I
that
got
are
ADD, and then
involved.
I'll be reading all
You
the
got the AID.
Yeah, they're believers. I mean,
All of a sudden they say, what did I read?
Here's the
I gotta
thing,
go
man.
back.
Cults are like.
I'm more like that with
I know you might
I'd be
read
10
that.
pages in and
Yeah.
just not even know what
Right,
the
but
fuck's established.
I would say Audible,
Mind control.
maybe
I mean,
you're
it's
just better
serious
at
stuff.
audio and stuff.
Mark and I finished the series. He's on one now about a cult on Hulu.
Oh, it's a good one.
What series? The Path.
It's almost like their Scientology, if I had to equate it to anything. They got to get to different levels.
I think that's what they were modeling it after.
Yeah, but they don't charge. The one thing you never see,
Money.
they don't charge to go to the next step of the ladder compared to Scientology. You pay for that.
I don't
But
know. There was some allusion to money.
that whole thing where they
That's the whole
have you,
thing.
they record you saying every negative thing you've ever done in your life.
That's going to take a long time.
Well, for me, it'd be, I don't know, 30 seconds.
I was wrong once, because I thought I was wrong, I was actually right.
No, but it's pretty wild. What do they call that? Not diversifying. They call it
No, let's see. Unburdening.
unburdening. Yes. You need to unburden.
It's called The Path?
So they'll lock you in a room
It's
for,
good.
they lock you in a room for 7 days in some instances.
Really?
Broncos quarterback.
And this little midget guy comes in.
Oh, no.
Gets you.
Really?
Is he the first string?
No, first-degree criminal trespass after allegedly standing outside of a residence and then entering it before being chased out by a
Girlfriend.
homeowner.
Tom Martino here. Joe Lazara is a criminal defense attorney. I hope you never need him. You know, I hope you never need John Fuller, personal injury attorney. I mean, really. But if you need him, you need him. And with Joseph Lazara, he does flat rate pricing. So if you get a DUI, it's one price, and he handles it all. If something goes to trial, that's different. And then that's at a severe discount. He'll take $500 off right off the top for Martino listeners. DUIs are easy to avoid, and it's his #1 case. Yet it's so easy to avoid with Uber, with Lyft, with breathalyzers they sell now. They're really, really good. Joseph A. Lazara, 303-429-6200, 429-6200 on my referral list at referralist.com. I want to talk to Dana Barton. She's the director of the Rocky Mountain ADA Center, which is American with Disabilities Act. So many people have called about this issue, and I never gave it a thought. And then one time we had Dana on, we talked to Dana, we talked to other people, and Dana did some more research. It's about accessibility for those with disabilities with Airbnbs and bed and breakfast and all of these newfangled ways to rent things. I mean, people are just saying, hey, you know, you can have my house for the weekend, and they're doing house swapping and all kinds of different things. But what's the legality? Can they make these Airbnb people adhere to access rules for the handicapped or for those with disabilities? I want to ask Dana, because I understand Suzanne said that you dug deeper into this issue and are probably going to help enforce more of them. Can you explain that, Dana?
I can try.
Good.
Yeah, so we found in our research that it looks like these vacation rental properties appear legally to be businesses that offer public accommodations that require ADA compliance.
Wow.
Yeah.
That can eliminate a lot of them.
Yeah, it's a big deal, right? And you know, a lot of people are using these vacation rentals as a second source of income.
Yeah.
I know City Council here in Colorado Springs is voting on taxes for these rental properties today. I mean, it's a big deal. It's a hot market.
Now, Dana, doesn't there have to be, or not have to be, but what about if there's no complaint? I can't see the government just coming up and making a lot of rules or summons for people unless there is a complaint.
Exactly. So the Department of Justice is the actual enforcement agency, not the ADA Center.
Okay.
But they don't go out and seek to find these things. They wait for individuals with disabilities to file the complaint with them. But I'm hearing stories, and I've heard them on your show, actually, where people either arrive to or get a reservation canceled. They arrive to a place or in a wheelchair. There's 6 stairs to get in, and they can't even get into the unit. So I know some of the platforms like Airbnb have been working on adding some accessibility information into the listings, but the problem there is, you know, the general public doesn't know how wide a door needs to be, or what the slope of a ramp needs to be, or, you know, all of the things where a light switch needs to be placed. And so we just want to encourage individuals who may have these properties to consult with us as the ADA Center to find out where they can make their properties more accessible.
So far, I wonder, are there a lot of complaints? I know we've taken some, but I wonder if it has become a big issue.
The Department of Justice hasn't had any kind of filings yet, but knowing with the drive-by lawsuits that have happened, what we're seeing with website compliance, this could be, you know, in the future something that's coming up. A lot of people are complaining about Ubers and Lyfts and ride shares, so it's just a matter of time before these properties start to see these filings with the Department of Justice. And we just want to make people aware that, you know, if you have a property, you should be thinking about it.
And you're not trying to tell people to go rat out your neighbor. You're saying, look, there's a way to do this the right way. First of all, do any municipalities, do you know, do they require licensing or permits?
For the Airbnb?
Yeah.
Or for the vacation rental property?
Yeah, for the Airbnbs?
I mean, like I said, Colorado Springs is voting on it today.
Okay, now here's the point. If they're going to require permits or licenses, they can hold those up if you're not accessible to those with disabilities. This could be a big problem in the future for people that depend on that for extra income. We have more coming up.
Tell her I'm going to give out the contact so she can either give it to me now or hold on.
What happened to that? What happened to that postal one we had where the lady wanted to sue the post office? I think Clint was talking about it. Do you know anything about it?
No, this is the one because
she said that she was an employee.
Yeah, Clint was asking about.
How the fuck would the post office get away with saying you'll start at 7 in the morning and you'll finish at 5?
They can't.
I think they said they'd have a deadline. I'll bet you you've got to have a mail.
I don't even know if you can set a deadline.
We talked to the son of a bitch. You can't do anything.
They told us, and I am not kidding, no exaggeration. If I was 18 years old mowing the neighbor's lawn, and I did it every week, and he was my only customer I had, I'm a fucking employee of his. a business
It's
card.
even worse than that, bro. If you hire a plumber and he's doing an addition on your home and he hasn't worked for anyone for 3 months, he can go back and get HR from you. Oh my God, it's crazy.
Do you eat bag salad? Like all these recalls, and I love my bag salad, but it's making me
Salad is a
nervous,
very
Tom.
dangerous food.
It's horribly dangerous.
It's like I don't know what to do.
I don't
can't get my
either.
greens.
Don't eat salad.
Salad and salmon. Salmon will kill you. Salad will kill you.
Bible stand.
I don't know.
But I wonder, is broccoli any safer than bag salad?
Love
Yes,
broccoli.
you cook it most of the time.
Well, if you want to eat it raw.
No, who eats broccoli raw?
Oh yeah.
You
You
don't
dip
eat
it.
broccoli.
You dip. Yeah. You dip it in like a little dip thing, and
What do you do?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Broccoli.
Mark does not do cold vegetables. Well, you eat carrots though.
I love carrots.
Oh, that's.
But they're nice and peeled and clean, and they're baby carrots.
I know, that's
They're
even
not the
worse.
weird ones you dig out of the ground.
No,
Breaking
you don't
me
have
up
the
about
skin
the
to protect you.
recall.
All my carrots have been made genetically.
All my carrots from Texas.
All my carrots are from Texas. What did I? Oh, when we were in Hawaii, I was astonished. I was astonished that the pineapple fields at the Dole plant. Holy shit, man! That looks like a pretty dirty fruit. They grow underground. They look very bizarre. They got these weird
Pineapples don't grow
stalks.
underground.
Yeah, they kind
No,
of
they
do.
don't. No, they don't.
I'm pretty sure they do. I thought they were on a tree.
No,
They're not on a tree.
They're on a bush.
They're not underground.
Well, they fucking looked underground.
They're on a bush. A small, short
Pineapple plant.
In fact, you should read that book because it's all about.
So you're saying the pineapple plant isn't underground?
The roots of it are, but not the.
Well, I'm talking about the roots.
It's a
It's a tree.
It's not a tree.
It's a bush.
Here it is. It looks like a little, like an
garbage plant
aloe.
almost.
It's not a tree.
No, that's what I
it's not a
thought.
tree.
I thought it was a tree too.
What would I know? I don't know.
I
What
swear
is
to
it, a
God,
bush?
I'm like you. I thought it was a tree.
What is a
But it looks like an aloe plant,
Yeah,
and it's in the middle.
but where do you get that from underground? You think it was like a potato?
No, the rest, it starts underground.
Yeah, most plants have roots underground, Mark.
That's what I'm saying.
Crazy.
At least I didn't think it was on a tree.
Good point. We're going to give you a B. B minus.
This from the guy that had me boiling steak about a month ago.
Dude, if you can't cook a steak like that, you just...
It's just not right. The whole thing is just not right, the more I thought about it.
You embraced it. You bought the thing.
I did. I sent it right back. Thank God for Amazon. They took it out and everything. It's like it never happened.
Did you get too drunk waiting on it to finish up? I'm not sure with
Shit.
a 2-hour cook time.
I did pour cake that Friday night. So I might have boiled my steak a little too long.
Oh, you did try it. Okay.
Oh, I tried
You
it.
get the blowtorch out to finish it up?
Yeah. You got to get that little. You got it. I think you think it was his girlfriend because I'm Chad Kelly because
They didn't say, but it was a dude that followed him out the door and chased him down.
right. Oh, it said that. I didn't see that. That it said it was
No, it sounds like it was. They didn't know who he was, and he didn't know who they were. If I had to
But
guess.
he came in there. He was standing outside. Then he went in while the cops were on his way.
I didn't say he wasn't a nut.
There's got to be more to this.
I think. Oh,
And
Yeah,
both
but
those will be like,
if it was someone he knew and he was being intimidating, there'd be way more charges than trespassing, right?
well, we got a felony.
You'd have a
it's a
domestic.
felony. I mean, it's not a slap on the hand kind of charge.
And it was at 1 in the morning.
He'll get, what's his name, Harvey.
I want him to play. I think he's going to have the X factor as a quarterback, like Brett Favre.
Who?
Chad Kelly. I think he's got that motivation ability, like
Now, where did he come from?
which school?
No. Most recently, was he Brett Favre
No,
out
no,
of college?
yeah,
He's been hurt for the last
Here's
year.
a guy that came from another team. He was a good player.
Oh, the one we got right
Quarterback.
now. He came from Minnesota.
Yeah, who is that?
What's his name?
I don't know shit.
Yeah, different Friday.
God darn it, can't think of his name.
Was he first string there or second?
So
Oh,
next
he
week.
brought the almost to
Probably.
the playoffs. The
Was
Vikings
he
playoffs.
was he their backup?
No, he was their backup, and then
And
he
then
become first.
Because the other guy was injured.
Right.
And then he didn't want to take second seat again, basically.
No, he brought in Kirk Cousins.
So, is he
Minnesota.
first seat here?
Yeah.
And what's his name? You don't know our quarterback?
Case Keenum.
Keenum. And is he good?
Yeah. We got kind of a bad one.
Our quarterback, I say our, I don't know shit. But this guy is the #1. Who's #2? This kid you're talking about?
The kid in Kansas right now is Matt Daddy. He came from Texas Tech.
Attention,
What's his name?
Oh,
Matt Daddy.
The #3 quarterback?
No.
In other words, does this second
What's the
stringer,
comedian?
does this second stringer have potential? Is that
I think so. So his uncle
Up until he
was,
got arrested last night.
Yeah,
Mahoney.
was Kelly from Buffalo, went to, what, 5 Super Bowls?
His name is
Jim Kelly. Yeah. His uncle.
or, Patrick Mahoney.
What's Jim Kelly doing right now?
He's awesome.
What's Jim Kelly doing right now? That's a name from the past.
This guy that he just
And Bernie Kosar, what's he doing? Remember that
He
name?
used to play for Texas Tech. He was unbelievable.
Where are these guys, man?
Why isn't he the first rounder?
I don't know.
Bernie Kosar.
They got a winner in him.
Did you guys watch the game last night? Have you watched any Monday night game? Do you like Booger?
Boogers. I don't know Boogers.
He's an ex-football player. For Monday night games, they elevate him like 13 feet on this platform over the field, and he goes up and down the field. But all the fans are bitching when he comes by and blocks the view.
Right.
What does he do? He's a cameraman?
No, he's a commentator,
He's a
but they
booger.
elevate him 13 feet above.
Oh, I want to look it up. I want to look it up. What's it called?
Just look up Booger Monday
Help
night.
me if you can, I'm feeling down.
Hey, I'm Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. Welcome to the only show of its kind anywhere in the universe. Let's talk this hour about home improvements. This hour brought to you by Art of Granite. We also have Plumb Line, Simply Floors, Inc., and some others. And you know what I love about Art of Granite? Wholesale on all materials and a small markup on the cabinets. But on the other stone materials, he's direct stone importer. Now, what we talk about in this show is where to go, what to do, what not to do, new laws, old laws. We have people fighting for your rights. We have people who fight those who are ripping you off. So all you have to do is call 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. Very quickly, on Art of Granite, it's very simple. You can call and get a price on the phone. How simple can that be? You might say, why do they do that? No one else does that. Because he only charges for fabrication and installation. He doesn't charge for tear out and haul away, so he doesn't have to quote that. He doesn't charge anything but wholesale on the granite, so he doesn't have to quote any kind of profit on that. He doesn't have to quote the bathroom because he does it free when you do the kitchen. So if you give him a rough idea of the layout, maybe a photo, just call him. He'll give you a price on the phone. You can shop around. Mitch Fleury is proud of what he does. He's a great guy. artofgranite.net, 303-386-5919. Talk about a successful immigration story. He came to America with $300 in his pocket. Now he owns Art of Granite and does a wonderful job and employs many. 303-386-5919, artofgranite.net. We talked about Airbnbs and rentals and their handicapped or disabilities. Those with disabilities, access. Access is difficult. Now, it's not being enforced much right now, but there are a lot of rumblings about it. If you're a property owner and you want to do an Airbnb and you want to avoid problems and you need advice, what I love about the Rocky Mountain ADA Center, which stands for Rocky Mountain Americans with Disabilities Act Center, they can advise you on these kinds of things, and they don't charge for that. Dana Barton's the director. If people need information, they want to be compliant, they want to do things the right way, you guys will give them information free of charge?
Absolutely. Yep.
But you don't inspect the properties, right?
No, we're not enforcement or advocacy.
Okay.
So we're not going to snitch to anyone. We're just going to help you.
Okay, so people call and say, I'd like to use my home as a Airbnb, and then you guys give them all the information, or a lot of the information.
Yeah, we'll help them out.
Good.
Absolutely.
What else do you help with? Service animals?
Oh, yeah, service animals, disability etiquette, we know all the regulations for sidewalks, streets, et cetera. You name it, anything that has to do with the Americans with Disabilities Act, you give us a call and we will answer your question.
And we're not going to go into it right now because it gets detailed, but you were the one that clarified for us a lot of stuff when it comes to what is a service animal as opposed to a support animal.
Correct. Yeah. So a service animal is any dog or sometimes a miniature horse that has been individually trained to perform a task to mitigate a disability.
And it must be trained for a specific task or more. And then emotional support kinds of animals, that's a whole different ball game, not as protected as a service animal.
Right. It's not covered under the ADA at all, as a matter of fact, for those emotional support animals. So the squirrel you see on an airplane, not a service animal.
That's crazy.
Tiny horse, though.
I heard about this. I think, Dana, and of course, you don't have to take a position as the Rocky Mountain ADA Center, but people do take advantage or look for ways to take advantage every turn.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we're here to help answer questions so people can determine whether or not someone's taking advantage.
Now, where do they contact you?
Sure. They can call us 1-800-949-4232 or find us online at RockyMountainADA.org. We just put up a brand new, beautiful, completely accessible website. So RockyMountainADA.org.
And I'm going to give the number out again, and that is 800-949-9232.
No, 1-800-949-4232.
I'm sorry. I'm going to make that very clear then. We wrote it down quick. Okay, so it's 1-800-949-4232.
That's right.
And that's for information. Or Rocky Mountain ADA, what?
.org.
Okay, Rocky Mountain ADA.org. Mark?
I want to ask John a question.
Yes, go ahead.
John, disclaimer.
John Fuller, attorney at law. Yes, go
Why
ahead.
do people think we're stupid? And here's what I mean by this. On the back of big trucks, you might see a sign that says, "Stay back 100 feet or else it's not our fault." Or all these companies and attorneys like yourself that send me an email, and at the bottom of the email is this confidentially disclosure that I never agreed to, but yet they act like they're creating some agreement between me and someone that randomly sends me an email.
Hold on. There are two different things you're talking about. One of them I promised we would talk about, which I'm still going to get to, which is disclaimers and how good they are. But before we do that, because you brought up the other thing, what about contracts that you try to create, like a restrictive endorsement on a check? You put, by cashing this check, you agreed to do this and this and this.
Or mortgage paid in full.
Or this email is totally private, you may not do this, 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 and this. What about those kinds of one-sided agreements first? What about them?
You know, the history of those things goes back to commercial paper and the UCC code and that kind of stuff. And so some of them are binding and controlling, others are not. I think if you merge towards the absurd of, by signing this check, Mark's going to come plow your snow or something along those lines, it's not ever going to be enforced. But restrictive endorsements on commercial paper and checks and stuff, sometimes those do have binding effect.
If I say I'm not responsible for personal injury, and you're doing something, can that hold up?
Certainly it can, yeah. Almost every recreational activity we have in the state of Colorado has some sort of a waiver that goes along with it.
Like Illich's.
I have an example that I give, and it's a funny example. That's not real, but I wonder seriously if it brings up a point. Where you sign and say, not responsible for personal injury or this of any kind. The guy signs it, you punch him in the face. Now, is that, and I'm serious now, would that be like, well, it's not intentional stuff, right?
That's criminal.
I don't think that'd be enforced, Tom, and there's technical reasons for it. But
like intentional.
I mean, it's an intentional act. It's not negligent. So basically the bottom line in Colorado right now is we can disclaim simple negligence in a waiver, but we can't disclaim the reckless conduct. Something that goes above just simple negligence. And that's really the dividing line between what's going to get enforced and what's not. The bottom line is these are contracts. I mean, they really are contracts. And so a court's going to look at the relative power and the relative position of each of the parties to decide what really is enforceable.
But if you send me a disclaimer on the bottom of an email, I have never agreed to whatever your disclaimer says, correct? There is no contract. There is no agreement. I can't send Dan an email and at the bottom say, by reading this, you agree to give me $100.
I think that kind of stuff on the bottom of an email is more to protect the sender from inadvertent disclosure than it is to bind you.
And now I got to talk to Jim. Jim, you say something was switched out. What happened? Jim?
Yep.
What happened?
I just took the car in for service. I had an oil leak, and they did about $2,500 worth of repairs.
Whoa.
And the next day, and I picked it up, they had some problems with skid plates, but somewhere in the week that they had the car, the battery got switched. And
are you positive the battery was switched?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, the shop had been sold. I put it in a year and 9 months before. And I had that shop do it because...
Was it a bad one that was put in? Was it a bad battery in its place?
Yeah, now the new one, I get it home after this work was done. And go up to Estes Park and just to check it because I was going to go on a road trip.
Yeah, just say it. It works or not? It's as good or bad?
It had a dead battery.
All right. So what's wrong with the battery they put in is definitely not yours.
Right.
How do you prove it, though? That's what I want to know. How do we prove it?
Well, I called them, and ironically...
Yeah.
I know what happened.
What happened?
Because I charged the battery on this car because I don't drive it all the time. So I constantly charge, or I don't constantly, but every couple of months I throw a charger on it just so it doesn't go down. And so I knew what battery was in it. And I
believe you, Jim. I believe you. I want to know, how do we, if we call the auto shop, they're going to say, no, we never switch it. And this goes for anything that happens at an auto repair shop. How do we know?
Well, ironically, the previous owner of the company is who I was, I had them install the battery.
Oh!
And so I said, hey, you guys installed this battery, or the old owners installed this battery.
Yeah.
And, well, mysteriously, they bought the company and threw away all the records.
Well, I don't think it's mysterious. I doubt they did that to get away with one battery heist. You know?
And, you know, I already replaced the battery. But then what got better is that the owner had called me up about 4 or 5 times and progressively kept getting worse, calling me a thief and a liar. And
okay, Jim, it all comes down to this. Okay, you're dealing, first of all, not with the old owner. You're dealing with new owners, right?
Right.
Okay, they took your car in. You paid a lot of money to get repairs done. And are they going to give you a hard time? In other words, why don't they just say, you know what, Jim, we're going to just put a battery in for you? Why don't they just do that? They won't?
What ended up happening is I was getting ready to go out of town.
What ended up happening, if you could get to that part?
I just took it to another battery in it.
Suzanne, every other word cuts out on his call. I really want to talk to him, but I can't understand what he's saying. But this happens, Mark. How many times do we hear this? What do people do? Do they take pictures? What do you do to prove mechanics didn't do anything? I think what you have to do is you have to deal with people you trust. I mean, I don't know what else to say. You've got to deal with people you trust.
And his is weird because it's an old owner and a new owner. I'm not so sure the new owner has any responsibility.
No.
He might be an idiot.
No, because the new owner is the one that he said took the battery. The old owner is the one that supplied the battery. So he's saying the old owner would have records showing that the battery that was installed was a different one that's in there now. But that still doesn't prove anything. It just shows that you bought a battery a few years ago. It doesn't show what battery was in there. But then again, I don't think it's not your fault. I don't think you can prove it. I think you just have to go by the honor of the service center. That's why we endorse certain places. I mean, you got to go with people you trust. Pro Auto Care is one of them. Okay? We don't get complaints like this about Al Ramos and his gang or Budget A1. You just don't get complaints about them. By the way, Pro Auto Care, Evans and I-25, Bowles and Santa Fe. And if you have a problem with them, they have that free roadside assistance in between, and they guarantee every repair. 303 Pro Auto. The website, 303proauto.com. While I'm plugging, I may as well plug right now. Jim, I got to take a quick break, but I got to ask you this straight up. I do believe you, Jim, okay? I don't think you're going to screw around and call us over this unless it's real. But I don't know how we convince anyone there. Do you think they did it intentionally? Because I don't see it paying for a 1.5-year-old battery or a 2-year-old battery. It doesn't seem worth it to me that they would take that battery.
Well, it was a high-end battery.
It
was the car's a BMW.
Okay.
And
how much? So how much is the battery worth that they took from you?
I could have bought it from Interstate Direct. We've got
about how much though? About how much do they cost normally?
About $350.
And the one that's in there now, about what?
Well, the one that the only place that I've tracked it down to is it looks like a Walmart battery.
Okay, so hold on. He said he already fixed it. So I want to know what he wants us to do or what he's proposing to do to get around this. 303-713-TALK. We have more coming up. Simply Floors, Inc. will save you money every time. Simply Floors, Inc. 50-second award. Or they'll match the price. Now, most of the time, you'll save 20% to 40%, sometimes half. When do they match the price? When you have a weird floor covering they don't normally carry. If you get a bid somewhere, they can match it. Often beat it, but they guarantee a price match. And they also give better service. And they do guarantee that. Better service, better installation, simplyfloorsinc.com.
He buys a battery.
He bought a battery 2 or 3 years ago.
Yes, from whatever
From the
shop.
He goes back for an oil leak, does $2,500 worth of work from the new owner, same shop. When he gets his car back, that expensive high-end battery is missing.
Well, why the fuck would anybody take it? I don't understand.
And another one in. He
Why?
said it's a high-end battery, they wanted it. I don't think so.
It's crazy.
But I don't think he's, do you think he's lying?
No, maybe they fucked up his battery on accident and gave him a new battery.
Okay, two things.
Well, why did he
No, it's not a new battery, the one in there.
So,
Maybe when they pulled it to do the other work, literally, and then they pulled it out and set it on the table. And then he got the wrong address.
So why did he go and take a
Probably because Interstate came and took that
Once
core
you're
at some point.
65,
and
you go right to Medicare. Why would she be in the military benefits?
I think that's
My
exactly
angel
what
is
happened.
only email.
They
Like,
put
I
it where
was
it's supposed to
pushing
go
for the
down.
problem once.
They just got swapped.
If you look at
You
the
have
chart,
an intention.
he called me. He had Integra
Are you
had
sure he
to
didn't
call
go
us.
back to him?
I think with TRICARE,
Well, he
when
didn't
I
go back
looked
to
at
him. That's idiotic. I
once
don't
you're
even
over
know
your
what to say about
65,
that.
you don't have TRICARE anymore. You're on Medicare.
You're right.
Could we get him his AARP membership?
What?
He's just trying to get you.
We're getting that for you for Christmas.
Mark, do you
The gold
realize that that was available at 55?
I'm surprised they don't sell it at 40.
Already car carrier.
Did you know John moved into a senior living, like for adults?
Yeah.
No kids under 19?
Did you get rid of your
He just doesn't want kids around.
We're all
I
jealous.
bought another one, but we sold our old home and bought it. We built a new home.
Oh, yeah, but in a community, adult community?
Is it a Dow Web
It's
or
not
whatever? What is
senior
it?
living. Pardon me, John. It's
It's,
adult living.
It's active adult.
We won't go there.
You wouldn't, right, so I'm right, you wouldn't.
Do they have memory care?
Anymore.
Sure, primary care for services that Medicare does not cover.
Meatloaf Day on Thursday.
And there's applesauce there every day for the ones that can't chew.
No, it's awesome. It's a great community. They have a clubhouse and a restaurant right there. Our house backs up to a
So
lake.
he said he went to this
Our house
website
backs up to the water.
to get
and
his
then
mom
across the
enrolled,
lake where we get
sends
to
him
watch the
to
18
some weird
fairway,
800 number that's a
which
bunch
is
of
just
robotic
awesome.
stuff. So I get helpful on that side. I just thought he was
Good
talking.
introduction and button up the golf side. So you get to see the shot. It goes in the water, and then you can see the club get thrown, and it's awesome. You know.
On the back, did you try to blow air horn on the back
What do you mean?
That was
It's active.
That would be.
Oh, veterans.
It's not that.
Oh, I see. I thought veteran spouses
Did
don't
you,
get covered their whole
You know who
life.
Sarah Silverman
That
is?
doesn't work that
She's a
way.
comedian. Female comedian. You've seen her. She's done all that shit.
But
She came out in an interview yesterday about Louis C.K. You know who he is.
Once you're not active duty, you go to the
He would ask her, and she would agree constantly.
Oh,
This
so
was
once
in
you're
the
not active
training.
duty
He
and
would say, "Can
you
I
go to
take
VA,
it out?"
you would die, but you have a wife in her 80s.
And sometimes she'd say, yeah, I don't care, go ahead. And other times she might say something like, nah, I don't feel like that now, let's go get a dinner. But it didn't sound like they ever had any kind of relations. Tell me that is not the oddest shit you've ever heard.
What? I'm sorry, do you have to repeat it?
Sarah Silverman,
yes, I got it.
in an interview, came out.
Black guy?
No, came out and said Louis C.K., who was part of the Me Too thing, he got in trouble.
Exposed his dick?
Yeah, but she would say he'd always ask me. It was always okay with me. If I didn't feel like it at the time, I'd tell him no, but he loved masturbating in front of people. So sometimes she'd say, yeah, go ahead, but there was nothing sexual between
How? Why would you want to masturbate?
It was the strangest interview I ever heard. And she was dead serious. Almost like it's normal in that world.
So what do you think he looks like?
Louis C.K.? He looks a little like...
funny son of a...
Oh, he's hilarious.
He is funny.
So he looks almost exactly like him.
Like George?
No.
Kramer. No, nothing like Kramer.
No, Kramer from the business.
Oh, for CNBC. He does look like Kramer. He absolutely looks like Kramer.
Yeah. You're
What
right.
are you saying, all bald guys look the same?
This one does.
You know, I'm turning Japanese. I mean,
Geez, I didn't realize Sarah Silverman.
She's so. Do you know what that means?
No.
You don't know what the meaning of that song? No. I'm turning. I'll tell you about it. Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. 303-713-TALK.
713-8255. Plumline Services, free second opinions on all major repairs, and right now you'll need it if someone tells you you need a furnace, and you'll be especially lucky because you will get a furnace free with the purchase of an air conditioner, plus you get tax credits, plus you get, or not tax credits, utility company rebates, and that's plumlineservices.com, Plumline, for plumbing, heating, cooling, electric, and drains, and free second opinions, especially with furnaces and drains right now, because drains, they have their own drain division, and they have technology to replace drains without digging up the whole ground. They go right through the old ones. It's 303-586-1086, plumlineservices.com. Okay, Jim is back about the switched battery. I will get to him in a sec. Jim, well, actually, let me get to you now. Bill, Jim, here's the bottom line. We're trying to figure out their motivation. You know, why would they, it just doesn't seem worth it for, even if it's a good battery, to steal a battery and put in another one and hope the consumer doesn't notice it. To me, it just doesn't sound logical.
Did you ask them?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and all I got...
Could it be a mistake?
Originally, they came back and said, oh, we'll take care of it. And then...
See, the old will take care of it, John. You see, John Fuller, that old will take care of it. And then your expectations are such, and then they say, never mind.
Yeah, then they came back and started accusing me of ripping them off and this and that. And ironically, I didn't... It was on a credit card. I could have protested the charges. What I wanted to do was let the owner know that there's probably a problem in his shop. He probably has a problem employee.
Yeah, but what is the motivation?
Particular size battery.
There's no motivation. What do they get out of it? A lousy battery?
A $15 core?
I mean, what are they doing?
Well, what I've got is a battery that's deader than a doornail and isn't the one that I took in. So I have no idea.
I don't either. I know what Jim is saying. Why do I have to figure out why they did it? I just know they did. I know exactly what you're saying, Jim.
And they can't find the receipt. I gave them the date that I paid for it.
That doesn't matter, that part.
That was the old owner.
Even if you bought it.
They came back and said this, well, you have to have an itemized receipt so we know what battery was in it.
Well, they're kind of true, and then I don't think they destroyed the receipt. I just don't think this whole big conspiracy, I think it was an accident or something. That's what I think.
Well, no, it's not an accident.
Or maybe a guy needed a battery. Maybe an employee needed a battery for his own car.
The chances seem outrageous.
I don't know what to do, Jim. I think this is just one of these TS problems.
Well, it is. It is, and I realize that, especially when he couldn't find the receipt. I said, well,
yeah, but that doesn't mean anything. That part is where you lose me. They couldn't find the receipt. It's a massive conspiracy. They destroyed the receipt. Who cares? A receipt would not have proven anything. It would have just proven you bought a battery a few years ago. Who cares? Jim, I am with you, except there's nothing we can do about it. Do you know what we can do about it, Jim? And I'm serious now. This is just one of those things. Never go back there. What's the name of the shop?
Arvada German Garage.
Okay, never go back to Arvada German Garage. And those listening, make with this what you want. Should we give him at least a courtesy of a call since we mentioned their name? Let's call Deputy Dan. Just say, look, the guy called to say this. Do you have a response?
See if they'll come on.
Arvada German Garage. At least give him the courtesy because we did mention him. All right. Now Pamela has an auto problem, an auto accident. And by the way, we like to call John Fuller the auto accident expert here, because really most of the personal injury suits turn out to be auto accidents. And John, that's just the nature of the beast, because that's what we do most of the time. You don't get many, that's why you don't get many slip and falls. Most of the time, auto accidents. I would say what? Would you say 10 to 1 over any other complaint, or 100 to 1 as far as personal injury?
Oh, no. I mean, the vast majority of my practice is auto accidents. We get a lot of premises liability calls. We don't take very many of them.
Yeah, they're not very good. But not just premises, but all personal injury. Would you say that automobile accidents are about 90% of all personal injury in general?
Probably close to that.
Yeah. Oh, so Pamela, what's going on?
Well, I don't even know where to start.
Okay, let's start this. You're calling about something to do with the car part of it, the accident part of it, or the personal injury part of it?
The personal injury part, most so.
When was the accident?
The accident was in Florida in 2010. I had none but a problem trying to get the care for rotator cuff tears in the left and right shoulders.
Pam, in 2000, yes. Hold on. Let me just do this a little at a time. It was in 2010, right?
Yeah, 2010. Mm-hmm.
Okay, whose fault was it?
It was the other person that got the ticket.
Okay, and did you ever get any settlement or medical bills paid by the other party?
No.
Never?
No.
Okay, and how did you...
The person is State Farm, none but a problem, and they're presently on my insurance.
Who was your insurance at the time?
The Hartford.
Hartford, okay. Did you put in a claim with your insurance company?
No, because I'm not going to use my insurance.
No, I know, but we're talking about 8 years ago, Pamela. So what have you been doing for the last 8 years? Have you been trying to fight them for the last 8 years?
Nope, I've been trying to get the medical care. So
have they ever paid for medical care over the last 8 years?
Not that I'm aware of. No, I'm on Medicaid and Medicare.
All right, Pamela, hold on. This might be way too far gone. John Fuller? John?
Yeah, so the starting point here is that it's 2018. This accident happened 8 years ago.
It's past
the statute of limitations has passed in both Florida and Colorado, and so if you didn't take action prior to that date, you're forever barred from taking it now.
I filed
a lawsuit.
Yes, I filed in Florida.
Right.
And what me and my brother did, because the blockage of State Farm using their attorneys and their investigators and stuff blocking my ways for me to be able to
Pamela, this is important. This is important. Okay? And this is really just simple stuff we need. When you said you filed, without a story, did you file an actual lawsuit?
Yes.
Okay. Did you do it alone, or did you have an attorney?
I couldn't get an attorney.
Okay, so
I tried and tried.
I don't need the story part. That means no. It's because in the interest of time. So you did not hire an attorney. You did it yourself. You actually filed and served them, and you had a hearing.
Yes.
And did the judge throw it out?
Yes.
Okay. Why?
Well, I
want to know what he said. I want to know what he said. What was the reason he threw it out?
Okay, well, what I did, the reason is that they didn't find, but I didn't get the chance to have my side.
Right. You filed discrimination charges, though, in that lawsuit, didn't you?
How do you know?
Yes. I filed civil rights.
Exactly, and they found that you didn't have merit for those charges, right?
Pamela,
right.
But what about the personal injury? Why didn't you just file for personal injury?
Oh, I did. I did both. And the judge granted the civil rights. Personal injury was never heard.
Why would he throw out both claims, though?
So
he didn't throw out both.
Pam,
he threw out the civil rights.
All right, but if she filed a suit, it's still dead after 8 years, John?
I've spoken with this caller before, okay, and it's perplexing. But what my guess is, is that after the judge threw out the civil rights related claims, the case probably went just dead for a while, and they eventually dismissed it for lack of prosecuting it. That would be my guess. You can't just have lawsuits laying around for 8 years with nothing happening on them. I don't practice in Florida. I don't know how Florida is, but here,
in most
you
states,
couldn't let a lawsuit just lay there for 6 years.
So after it was dismissed, what did you do, Pamela? What did you do after that?
Basically, I have been taking time trying. I came to Denver. I'm here in Colorado.
No, but what did you do? What did you do? Like the next year after that? I mean, we're talking 8 years. So what did you do for all of 2011?
Okay, I'm trying to get the medical care.
You're not going to now. It's too late.
No, she is. She's on Medicare and Medicaid. She can get all the care she needs.
Hold on, let me talk.
No, we will.
That's what I don't understand either, John.
Pamela,
she is getting care.
Pamela, we will let you talk, dear. I just have to take a break. Honest to God, I'll let you talk. But there's something you need to know, and I want you to listen to this. When we come back, we'll address it. The accident case, no matter how hard you tried, expired. You will not get medical care from people involved in that accident. You have to come to grips with that. Now, if you need other help with Medicare and Medicaid, we can help you. So hold on that, okay? There are seminars, Become the Banker they're called, where you can learn how to overfund a life insurance policy in order to earn interest on your money tax-free. It can't get more simple than that. It is safe and guaranteed at 4%, plus there's 1% dividend that's been paid, and the 4% is guaranteed, the 1% can fluctuate, sometimes it's higher. And that is a tax-free earning. It's called a cash value. It is a secret way to save money tax-free and have your own retirement account without involving the government. And the only reason there's life insurance is because it's required by law to make this legal. The goal is not life insurance. To find out more about this, I urge you to just go see becomethebanker.info. The website has a video and a place to sign up for seminars. There's no hocus pocus. There's no get rich quick. This is safe and conservative. Becomethebanker.info.
People that work their asses off. I mean, not work. They're working on a case for years and years.
This lady is completely batshit crazy, okay? You haven't even heard the second chapter of it, which is that there's a case against State Farm in Utah that claims that if you have some nexus that she can bring the damn suit in Colorado. She's fucking nuts. And she thinks that State Farm is interfering with her doctors. Every time she goes to the hospital, State Farm is fucking around and not letting her get the care. She's verifiable fucking nuts, okay?
Crazy. Can you find out if she's single? Because Dan here.
Can you send us a picture, fam?
How long did you spend on her?
Oh, fuck, my paralegal spent a half an hour trying to get off the phone, and then just for shits and giggles, I called her back, and which I normally do. I mean, I'll call people back and answer that question, and I'll tell them the truth. And the truth is, dear God, lady, it's 8 years later. There's no way you still have a lawsuit.
But if all she wants is medical care, why does she even care? She has medical care.
She thinks State Farm is interfering, okay? She wants to sue State Farm because she thinks they're acting in bad faith to deprive her of the medical care that she needs. Now, if you want to go further, deeper in the onion, Florida's a PIP state. We're not a PIP state. We used to have PIP, which is where you did get your medical care from the at-fault. Actually, you didn't. You got it from your own insurance company, not the at-fault. She never wanted to involve her own company, and in Florida back then, she would have had to because the first $10,000 of her medical care would have come from her own. Now, we don't need to go down that road with her. I've done it already. And
maybe you should take the case, though. I mean, the more you tell me, the more I think we should take it.
I think you seem excited about it.
Why don't we get Clint to take it on?
In fact, another guy called me and stuff. I got to ask him about that.
Clint sent me that fucking bell ringer of a referral. This lady comes in the door with goddamn 7 prior felonies.
It's too good.
He
this is too good. Here's from the affidavit. Here you go.
Okay.
All right, so
I think he's innocent.
Yeah, you would. When an unknown male entered the residence uninvited and sat down on the couch next to Nancy, and he was mumbling incoherently. Nancy called for Mark, though, her husband, who confronted the male in the living room and hit him with a stick in the upper back as he kicked the male out of the residence. The stick was later identified as an aluminum vacuum tube with plastic ends about 2 to 3 feet in length.
He was shit-hammered.
He was shit-hammered.
Yeah, he was totally
100% what it was.
So the husband hit him.
Yeah, the husband hit him because he was...
He's lucky he didn't get fucking killed.
Yeah. Well, if he was black in Texas, he would have.
Would have waited until he got out of the house to shoot him.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
And apparently he went back to the Halloween party because they were having a Halloween party at the Gothic last night, and the police took the homeowner back there and he identified him.
He was that shit-ass drunk.
Oh, you
He
said
walked
you
into
did.
the wrong house.
Yeah, it was the wrong house.
And sat down on the couch.
Yeah.
Next to a strange
right
woman.
by the Gothic theater.
He asked for some popcorn.
It's never happened to me.
This sounds like George Costanza when we went and watched the movie with that.
What are you doing living in Inglewood, leaving your door unlocked at 1:15 in the morning?
That's a good question.
That's another question.
Sitting on the couch.
You know what? You're right. It's their fault.
Man, you're tough, Drew. Hey, Tom, we had
They were begging for him to come in.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
After this one, do you remember the guy's name was Keith? Is the guy that came here and got it with Daphne?
Came here?
Yeah, he came here and she didn't. He was very rude to her on the phone. Anyway,
He was in the lobby or came here?
He came up and gave her the one to talk, and Clinton went down to him.
I vaguely remember that.
You guys were gone.
What about him?
You were gone.
No,
Anyway,
I
he's calling
remember.
again. It's a 20-year-old case with his mom. You had actually told him on the phone that you wanted to investigate judges that assign, what's that called when they assign trustee. Assign trustee. You want to do that, and you had all the paperwork. He's calling again and says, well, what are you going to do with me? I told him before, I says, there's nothing we can do.
He was an asshole to Daphne.
No, but I think he has a really good issue.
He's got a good issue.
And I
Ago,
still
20
have
years
his
ago.
file.
20 years.
Was this the same when I took the file on?
Yes. You got that whole
It
file.
was 20 years.
20 years ago. And they've been doing his, so they owe, so he's going after the house of his mom. And they're, every 6 years, they're what's it called? Redoing.
Upping the loan. Or the
Not
lien.
Renewing the lien. Right. They're doing it just by, and he's a lawyer. So he's saying, what are you going to, I told him, I says, you're done. It's 20 years ago.
Well, if he's an attorney.
He's not an attorney.
Okay.
The attorney is redoing,
Give him Fuller's number. This will be taken care of.
Okay.
He says 20 years. Fuck that.
But do you have?
John doesn't listen to statutes.
He makes statutes.
They don't apply.
I should've known better.
Tom Martino here, 303-713-TALK, 303-713-8255. Welcome to the only show of its kind anywhere. GoCamSolar.com/troubleshooter. That's a free evaluation of your lot and how much energy it'll produce. Listen, a lot of people are going solar not just to protect the environment, but to freeze their electric bills because there's no money out of pocket because you get a tax credit to do that. And then the low monthly payments, you pay that instead of your electric bill. So you're just basically shifting where you pay. You save money immediately and you own the system after a few years. It's GoCamSolar.com/troubleshooter to just find out if it's worth it because they predict what your lot will generate and then guarantee that. But there's no obligation by doing the free analysis. GoCamSolar.com/troubleshooter. They don't even have to come out to your house to do it. It's all done with imagery and mapping software. GoCamSolar.com/troubleshooter. John Fuller's with us, a personal injury attorney. We're talking to Pamela. Pamela, you know, I fear we're not going to be able to help you because statutes of limitations, no matter how much you've worked on things, no matter how much you've tried to keep it alive, things expire. And if we can help you with Medicare or Medicaid, we can try to do that. But Pamela, you're not going to get any health care or anything from State Farm. Do you understand that part of it?
Well, I hear you, but the nature of the case and what they have done legally is illegal. That's all the way up to the governor of Rick Scott blocking me getting an attorney.
Who's Rick Scott?
Governor of Florida.
Rick Scott, yeah, that's the governor of Florida. And he's also been on television and in the news for Medicaid. For
Pamela, I want to say something to her. Pamela, in all honesty, it's been 8 years. I wonder why you struggle letting this go so much. I mean, it's going to put you in your grave.
Well, my hip, I couldn't walk. I was in a wheelchair.
But you have Medicare. You have Medicare.
I have struggled. I have really struggled for my health care.
You've got to let this go. It's going to eat you alive. It's consuming you.
But let's talk about it. You have Medicare, Pamela. You have Medicare, Pamela. You have Medicare. You have health care. So what else do you need? I don't understand. You have Medicare.
Well, State Farm is on my insurance.
You have Medicare. You have Medicare. You don't need State Farm.
It's the issue. It's the issue. Yes. Well, why are they on my insurance, dictating my care?
They are not dictating your care.
Pam, just so we can understand, help explain to us how State Farm is manipulating your care.
Well, blocking my care.
Why would they do that?
How? Well, I couldn't get the surgery. I have rotator cuff tears, and the only way rotator cuff tears are repaired, Tom and John, is through surgery.
But why would State Farm block that? Why would they care if you get surgery?
Well, it's $215,000.
But Pamela, but they don't pay for it. You're on Medicare. It has nothing to do with State Farm. Why would State Farm block that surgery? It has nothing to do with them.
They don't want to pay.
They don't.
I have
Pamela, listen.
That's not true.
Pamela, can you just listen for a sec? State Farm.
I wish you would listen to me.
I am listening. But what you're saying is wrong. State Farm is it's gone. It's done. If you had surgery today, State Farm doesn't have to pay a dime. They're not involved. They have no reason to try to block your care.
Well, they did.
No, they didn't. I think you're mentally ill. I hate to tell you that, but you need help.
Well, you can call me, but I have a document here of a doctor stating and plus I was illegally implanted.
What implanted what?
I have no idea what it is. It's in my vagina and rectum, and it burns. And I have pictures of the burns. And my health care also saw the burns.
She's jousting.
No.
All right, no. I don't want to make fun of her. But I've heard of brain implants from people who are mentally ill and black helicopters. I have never once heard of a rectum and vagina implant. I've not.
Where have you been?
I have that is unique. That is.
I think Deputy Dan's got one.
Pamela needs help. Suzanne, seriously now.
I will.
If she has a relative that we can talk to, tell her we want to help.
Okay.
I want to get a relative to help. And I'm serious now. I want to get a relative to talk. I don't want to. I could have kept her on the phone and made fun of all this, but we can't do that. That woman seriously is mentally ill.
It's bad. 8 years has consumed her. It's going to put her in her grave.
It's not 8 years. She's mentally ill. She's mentally ill. That's my opinion. Obviously, I can't. Hey, Richard.
Yeah.
What's going on, man?
Hey, buddy. The guy with the battery.
Yeah.
I wanted to say pictures are worth 1,000 words. Mark is right.
So what do you mean?
Pictures of. Well, take a picture of it before you go in there. If you're not trusting the mechanic or the shop, take a picture of your engine. Then he would have had proof that the battery was switched out.
Yeah. But what would? Okay, you mean a picture before it went in, right? Is that what you're talking?
Can you imagine if you had to go to a shop where you're taking pictures so they don't steal your stuff?
But Richard,
I take pictures of everything.
But Richard is correct, though.
It'd be great to have them.
We're not going to do it probably, but you know. You do. You have to protect yourself. But like Mark said, if you have to go to that extreme, don't use the shop. I mean, don't use them. Could you imagine? Mike.
Hey, anytime. You know what he brings up, though? Anytime I rent a car, I check off every single quarter panel you can possibly do for scratch.
Hey, hold on. This sounds serious. Hey, Catherine.
Yes.
I just saw this note. This seems serious. Your mom passed away. And tell me what's going on.
Okay, my mom was in the hospital.
Yes.
And she was severely ill, and she decided that she wanted to go home. Not to die, but to go home and to try to recover at home better.
Sure.
And so
She needed to be on TPN. It's a nutritional IV substance.
Okay.
And so we were told in the hospital, it was a Sunday, we were told without a doubt from the case manager that Medicare would not pay for the TPN. And she also has Blue Cross Blue Shield as a supplemental, so there was no talk about the secondary insurance. They told her that she would have to pay $120 a day for the TPN for me to administer at home for her.
I get it.
So we told they were going to bring it the same day because she needed to be on it, and we were told that my mom would have to supply her credit card number, and my mom was aware of what was going on. She was making her own decisions, so she said, whatever, I'll do whatever to get out of here. Well, nobody ever, when they delivered it, there was no call, or they did not ask us to pay or anything like that.
So your mother never signed for anything, and she had this supplement delivered and administered, and it was supposed to be $120 a day, right?
Yes.
Okay, hold on and we'll come back to this story. I'm Tom Martino, 303-713-TALK. Ideal Home Loans. For your next Ideal Home Loan, interest rates, who knows? People don't know what the hell are going on right now with interest rates. What is going on? You can find out or not. It doesn't matter, because whatever happens, you can refinance free of charge with Ideal Home Loans. So if you refinance or buy right now and rates go down, you get to refinance free. If they go up, you stay where you are. There is a no-lose situation with IdealHomeLoans.com, 303-867-7000.
Yeah, right. It's not even. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
They came here from the States, though, right?
If there's
No.
anything.
Well, yeah, they can. No, they can't. Not without a signed document. Well, they probably could, because they can say that Quantum Marriott.
So Tom, what should I tell this guy there that you're looking into the
No,
It's 20 years ago.
I know, I told him that.
I told him that I really liked the issue, but when I found out how long ago it was, there's nothing I can do. There's just nothing I can do.
And he's going to be here again.
He's a big guy.
right now.
Quinn said he's huge.
I was down there in the lobby one time when Mark was dealing with the black helicopter guy.
Oh my God, that was insane.
Oh, I think I can remember.
Corey.
And that was Corey was the one that, and then
That's
Mark
Corey.
went to the driving school.
And she happened to be there.
Yes, yes.
She was so freaked out, dude. And he threw a fit in there. I mean, he outright, he walked in 10 minutes late, and the teacher said something like, okay, well, since you interrupted the class, let's take a vote. Does anybody care if he stays? So basically, the teacher was going to let the class decide because he came in late and interrupted.
He got banished from the island, didn't he?
So, no, and the class basically said, no, it's fine, he can stay. No one gave a shit. It's fucking traffic school. So, she's in traffic school.
Yes, dear.
They vote to keep Corey there. And what happens is, he throws a fit because the teacher did that. He throws the books in the trash and all the shit stops out.
Now they want her to sign so they can submit it to insurance, even though she was told insurance wouldn't cover it unless she had it for 6 months or more. Okay.
That was the second
kind of explain.
That was the second
Do
time.
you care if I do that when I shoot your ear
No,
like that?
no. Here's one thing. When they're telling a story, and they're in the bullshit phase, I don't care, but sometimes if you say more than one or two
Why
words,
did he come here?
it covers up what they're saying. And I go, you ever see me go like this?
Yes.
That means I need to hear what they're saying. But if you say, I got more on this, or
we're
that,
smoking joints,
or just, most of the time it doesn't.
Sometimes I just know it's easier to get to
come
shit
out.
with stuff like
Or I have
that.
or I have more.
Yeah.
Seriously,
Most
that's
of
where
the
it
time,
came from.
people say so much shit. You can.
Yeah.
I bullshit you not.
Every once in a while.
I remember that happened.
When I first
a nugget,
when I first went
Yeah.
down,
and you break in.
I said, how can I help
And
you? He
she's
goes,
so sweet. She said
He
her
goes,
mom's
it's
called
me.
you over the last few years.
I'm like,
It's different issues and stuff.
okay,
I'll remember.
I mean, who the hell would that
I'll remember that mom.
So he goes, you know, you guys are always talking about me during the breaks, and I'm looking at him, I'm going,
Oh, Corey?
I have no idea who you are. What
No,
do you know? We're
that's-
talking
Could be watching.
No, he
I
said,
careful.
He's sick.
Didn't we go to his place, or somebody went to his place and he actually had tinfoil over the windows? Is that the guy?
No, the mother said that to me when we talked to the
Oh,
mother.
it's creepy. I
And I
couldn't
said,
believe
well,
I got
thank you.
in
Here's
private
what I
school with
did. I
that
called
guy.
John for him.
You did?
Let me give you his phone.
Here's the cell number.
He
He
grew
usually only
a
works
shit
at night.
pit in there and stormed out
talks
after
about
5
it all the
minutes.
time.
He never saw me. No, he
I've been
never.
there.
Oh, Tom sent me in anxiety mode. I called Mark crying and
Can you put that on hold?
Just by coincidence.
Oh my God.
Just coincidence.
A day or two after
He
that
talks
went
funny.
down.
He talks funny.
So you didn't know this, John, that same guy. So months go by. So about 3 months ago, that was over a year ago.
Right.
So yeah, it was before our accident or right after. So 3 months go by. About 3 months ago, he gets into the building. Somehow he gets up to the 4th floor, and he's making coffee out of it.
No, that same guy?
Yeah, of course. I swear to God. They have him on video, just out making coffee, and then he left. So he got in.
Follow in with somebody through
He
the door.
had to, but not only that, then on the elevator. And if you take the stairs, unless if you're at the bottom stair, you can't even get to a floor. So, I mean, you knew that, right? That he got up here and was making coffee?
Get the help you need. Some health insurance covers the cost. Call today.
Yeah, no, you're going, geez, I mean.
The Raleigh House, 720.
Well, that's crazy. Then, you know, let's look at the chairs we have here.
Right.
You like that chair?
Nice.
Call today.
High-tech operation.
You can probably sell you that. This chair's been sat in.
Have you ever?
Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter, this is Jimmy Carter.
If we went to John's office for a consultation on 6:30,
Looks like Craig Silverman was sitting in there.
Hi, Tom Martino, 303-713-TALK.
ApprovalReverse.com for information on reverse mortgages, ApprovalReverse.com. And the reason I give you that is because reverse mortgages, a lot of people have a lot of equity. And even if your house goes down in value, that equity you cash in on cannot be taken away. So you should get it if you want. If you're eligible for a reverse loan and you're 62 or older, you could capitalize on that, keep it, and then have it for the future as an emergency line of credit. ApprovalReverse.com. Now, it's not for everyone, but Joan Sullivan will tell you the truth. 303-771-3528. 771-3528, ApprovalReverse.com. Let's go to the phones. Catherine, her mom was sent home with a supplement that costs $120 a day. It's not covered by insurance. The mom made her own medical decisions and said, okay, I'll do it. Don't worry. I'll pay for it. And then she went home but never signed anything. They delivered the supplement, and she died, I'm told, 6 days later. So let me guess, Catherine, in the interest of time, because I don't want you to be cut short. They're trying to collect from you, right?
They want me to sign a financial agreement that they can bill Medicare, which I'm not totally against.
Nope, because you, in that agreement, will be taking personal responsibility.
Okay.
Why would you even consider
because that's what they're telling her. They're saying, look, it's only fair, at least give us a chance to recoup our money by going to Medicare, and they're probably even going to say, don't worry, you won't be personally liable. Well, guess what? They don't need your signature to do that. They can do it anyway, so they're lying to you.
Okay, and so that's good to know, because on the same form, on the same paper where they want me to sign to go ahead and bill Medicare, it's already saying Medicare will not cover self-pay $120 per day. And I told them, you know, if they need help getting a new...
Don't sign it.
Don't even deal with it. You don't owe them a dime. You don't owe them a dime. You don't
feel
owe them
guilty about it. Just don't sign it.
I will say this.
I just feel bad because, you know, I know that my mom needed it, and it didn't help in the end. She still passed away, but I feel like it's their fault that they didn't.
Catherine, it's no one's fault. It's no one's fault, and it's not yours. And you're a good person because you're thinking about this, but you're not obligated. You can, if they put in a claim against the estate, and when you settle her affairs, if there's any money, she would be able to do that, but otherwise not. Okay? So you don't have to worry about that. Derek says his car was stolen at a dealership and not reported for a week. We're going to talk about the implications and if they have any kind of responsibility. Derek, you hold on for that. Buyandbuild.net for your savings below wholesale on plumbing fixtures, lighting fixtures, cabinets, countertops, and more. That's buyandbuild.net, 4800 Washington Street for do-it-yourselfers or contractors. doityourself.net. Bright Light Chiropractic. Finally, a chiropractor.
You're not any more obligated. Credit card company could come after him, not his daughter. No, could go after the estate.
Yeah, did I do wait?
They usually never
mention
do.
that.
Hey, so jousting at windmills, where did that come from?
That came from Don Quixote. It's literature.
No, but you know what it is? That's very Americanized. It's actually a European.
Well, jousting,
it's tilting at windmills.
Yeah, but it was jousting, and the reason they said that was is that when you go up against a windmill like he was doing, you're not going to win. I mean, it's a fucking windmill. It was just it meant a useless battle or insanity is what it meant. Being insane. It was another way of saying you're crazy.
Well, attacking an imaginary enemy.
Right. Yes, that's exactly right. Jousting at windmills. He was out, riding his horse straight toward him.
But it's funny, when I typed that in to see, I wanted to see the origin, everything comes back as tilting at windmills. I just never heard that. I've heard jousting, of course, because you use it constantly.
Well,
tilting at windmills.
Yeah.
Tilting is an English idiom that means attacking.
Yeah, because you're doing this.
Okay.
See, well, no, I think what he would do is he would go up there and stand next to the windmill.
At the ready, you're like this, okay? You're like this at the ready, and then when you get ready for battle, you tilt it.
Ah.
You look it up.
Are you sure it's not when you lean over and tilt?
I believe it's the position of the thing.
Tilt means joust. Derived from joust.
Right.
No, joust would be derived from tilt. Considering that novel was written in 1605.
Also says he did raise the issue of election.
Okay, what's that?
And the guy's name is
Don Quixote. He wrote a book.
Well, no, it's Miguel.
He was in the war.
Yeah. It's written by Miguel Du. Let me try to remember that guy's name. Yesterday.
Against Russia. International skepticism.
I'm trying to think of the books I had to read in high school. They were all brutal.
Cat in the Hat.
That was 8th grade. What's the one where they're like the 50s guys and there's like Pony Boy?
Oh. They made a musical of it.
That one.
That was a good book.
Where the Red Fern Grows.
Yeah, that's about the dog.
Yeah, the dog that died.
Releasing a joint
what else? Before that, of course, Charlotte's Web. Did you have to read that?
Oh, yes.
Well, that's the one with the pig.
I hated that story.
Wilbur. Oh, wait, wrong Wilbur. That's the horse that dies. Wilbur's the pig.
No.
Wilbur's the pig.
On Charlotte's Web?
Is the pig, yeah.
Hello, John.
Isn't he the pig?
I don't remember the name.
And the spider knows he's going to go off.
This flu season,
God, it was a sad story.
can make a world of difference. So,
Outsiders? Was that the name?
Outsiders, that's right, The Outsiders.
That was a good book.
That was a good movie, too. It was a movie.
Wasn't it a musical in the movie?
You're thinking of Grease, probably.
60 million flu shots.
I don't know. What's the one where the animals, it's almost, what is that one called?
Our fellow downtrodden, come all. You're welcome.
Hop on the truck.
Come to Beverly Hills.
Yeah, that's where they need to go. That's exactly where they need to go.
They're all saying we
Mexico can't be liking this either.
With Dell Small Business Technology.
Mexican people are feeding them.
Advice and one-on-one
The majority of these people, man.
Because with reliable Dell PCs with Intel Core processors, you can.
Okay, here's so Pony Boy's brother, one of his brother, what did he do for a living?
To speak with an advisor.
Auto mechanic.
1577
Cop.
Roofer.
He was a roofer?
Remember, he was a very strong guy. He carried 2 bundles of shingles up on the ladder.
Partly sunny today with a high of 65. Tonight, mostly cloudy and a low of 43. Tomorrow, partly sunny with a high of 63. Thursday, sunny and a high of 66.
I got to start playing racquetball.
Is sponsored by Lowe's.
I'll play.
Do you play?
Yeah.
Do you have a membership somewhere?
Well, I was just going to go back and do it at the South
I have a membership.
Will you play racquetball?
And online.
Have you ever played?
Yeah, I haven't played in so many years. It would be like starting over probably.
It's like riding a bike.
But when I played tennis, it came back to that.
You're good at ping pong, though, right?
I love ping pong. Now racquetball, I love it. I love it.
I don't like
We have really nice racquetball courts too, but I don't know what it costs for a guest.
Still be you. However, if I doubled your income,
There's one in Castle Rock that's got it.
Don't the rec centers have them real cheap, like park rec centers?
Rec centers aren't cheap.
give me a call.
They're not.
No, you're better off getting a membership somewhere.
Come on, Mark.
Southgate here is free for.
Some of them are only $5 for the whole day.
Your 401ks, your
I should say
IRAs.
free.
I think I paid in Parker just a few bucks to go there.
When you know what's coming in this month, next month, and every month thereafter, you'll be able to
I think
enjoy
you're way off
retirement
there.
to the fullest. Retire happy.
Let's
Retire
see
with Tucker.
pricing.
You can reach us
Get
at
Pamela
303-734-1234. That's 303-734-1234.
You love coming here.
I was trying to tell you, I talked to that crazy ass lady, and I was like, it's fixing to get deep in here. And you're like,
Right, it is pretty.
shush, I want to get to the anal insertion fucking UFO probe.
Did she get to you that about?
Why do
talk
you-
to you about that? Or?
Why do you think it didn't happen?
Yeah, really.
Come on.
Implant?
Yeah. How do you guys know?
Good point.
See?
Dingleberry.
$60,000 in Adams County not delivered yet.
I don't have mine yet.
I don't have ours.
I'm getting concerned about it because
Go
we
to the
just
polls,
moved a
big
couple months
goddamn
ago.
deal.
I will, but
It's a
Do
pain.
they mail ballots to everyone?
If you're registered.
Then why does anyone go to a poll? Really?
Because people forget to do it.
Right. Wait too late, and then
They wait for the news to remind them this is an election
like
day.
a really important.
Are nowadays the
No way
majority
to
of
get
people doing it?
But I think can't you go there and get this, and then fill it out, do yours and fill it out?
Oh,
and
no,
give it
I've
to
never
them?
had to do that. I've always, I mean, I lived in the same place for like 20 years, so I've never had an issue. Now I'm worried because I moved.
We've
All
mailed
this
in
stuff is
every year.
updated, but,
Mail
but
in
we
or drop off.
have our,
Actually, I have, there has been times that I had to go up to the high school now that I remember. I don't remember why though.
You drop it off or?
No, they're going in low.
Now, Tom Martino on 630 K-Now.
Hi, I'm Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. 303-713-TALK. 303-713-8255. Hey, I ended that hour by saying buy and build. I said buy and build. I meant to say buyandbuild.net toward the end, and I said, I don't know why, but it's like I'm getting old. Do-it-yourself.net, I swear.
I don't remember you saying that.
I said it right at the end, buyandbuild.net. And speaking of home stuff, I'm Tom Martino. We talk about home improvements as a really big deal here. Denver Egress Windows, they have such a great service. They rebuild those window wells and put in new windows if you need them. They protect your foundation, your home, and provide access. And most builders, when they build those, put in that cheap corrugated crap. Denver Egress can rebuild them with composite materials that look beautiful. They can also do window wells where there are none at all. Punch right through the concrete and make that accessible square footage down in your basement legal and appraisable and good for resale. Also, they can do walkout basements, even on flat lots. Denver Egress, it's called, window, singular. DenverEgressWindow.com to find out more. DenverEgressWindow.com. David's got a comment on Pamela's call. Now, Pamela's call started out as a genuine inquiry, I thought. You know, she had an accident, it was 8 years ago, in Florida. Basically, State Farm's insured was at fault, she said. And she went to court on her own, pro se, they call it, you know, representing herself. Is that what they call it, pro se? Yep. And then she tried some discrimination suit, and the judge threw it out. She never proceeded on her personal injury suit, so that expired. And she is just hell-bent. This is where the mental illness came in. She was hell-bent on believing that State Farm has followed her all these years, denying her of proper medical care. And wherever she goes to a doctor, they screw with her. I mean, it gets really, really serious. And then when I realized, she said she had an implant in her vagina and her rectum, and it was controlling her or something, some kind of implant, and it's burning. Then I realized we have some serious mental illness, and I no longer really wanted to talk to her and make fun of her. And we wanted to get a relative a name or something if we could, and maybe contact a relative. So David's got a comment on that. I just had to, for people just tuning in, had to tell them what you're commenting on. Go ahead, David. Or Medicare too. Yeah. 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 Could be. But they wouldn't do it if she told them it happened in 2000 or 2010. I mean, they wouldn't bother. I mean, if she comes to them, yeah. No, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't. I'm sorry, David, they wouldn't.
Medicare and Medicaid don't ever prospectively deny care based on the
Right.
idea that they might someday recover from some third party.
Right.
They always exercise a subrogation interest and get
Right.
paid back after the fact.
Right. But they don't bother going after cases that are 8 years old. I mean, they have no reason to.
No, the only time that they would be if, for instance, if that lady had an attorney that had neglected to pay their interest, then they would be going after that attorney or some other party. But they wouldn't be holding this over, 8 or 10 years later. That's just not the way they act.
But it is possible she told them it was from an accident and did not tell them when it was, and then they would have contacted State Farm. But if they told them, if she had a rotator cuff problem or whatever, and she said, I was in an accident in 2010, they wouldn't bother trying to collect on that.
It gets more complicated than that, though, Tom, because Florida's a PIF state, so the initial responsibility for the medical care would have come from her Hartford insurance. And State Farm would have never been in a position of being a third-party guarantor of any bills. That would be something they might allege that the tortfeasor was responsible for, but they would never have said, send us the bill, we're responsible for paying those medical procedures.
So it's just our opinion that State Farm has nothing to do with her claim being delayed at all, and she's mentally ill. But that's our opinion. Derek, what's going on with you, Derek? What's happening? Yes, sir. It was in when? November? Okay, October of this year, October 6th. I got you. Ah, dog. Okay.
No way.
Does this have anything to do with the problem? Look at Derek, I know why you're calling, and none of this has anything to do with the problem. You dropped your car off to be repaired, and it was stolen. So, okay, I said that in 3 seconds. The problem you have is that it took a week for them to report it. Is that what you're saying? Now we're back on the weekday. Okay. Just tell me, how many days did it take him to report it? How many days was it? Okay, that's 5 days. So they took a lot of time to report it missing. Why? Why did it take so long? Oh, what happened, Derek? Derek, just hold on a second. What do you mean you're trying to tell me? No, you're not. You're saying on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday, on Thursday. I got up, I took a crap, I shaved. I then popped a pimple. I went back, I made some more coffee. I went down the street, there was a red light. No, listen, Derek, I want to help you, okay? Please, we got to get to the issue. Why did they take 5 days to report it? Did they tell you why? That's unreasonable. Unacceptable that took them that long. Unacceptable.
It could have been a big lot, though. They might not have known, Tom. Seriously.
Yeah, but here's the deal, Derek. Here's the problem, though. Even though it took them a long time to report it, what are we getting at? I mean, the car was stolen.
And it's a criminal act.
Did they leave the keys in it?
No, the car was. Someone stole the keys off the board inside the door.
Oh.
Then came back one Sunday.
They might have liability.
Sunday, drove off the lot. Wasn't reported till I called to ask them. They didn't even know it was missing till I called. Then the Aurora Police recovered it that following Sunday, 2 days later.
They did. How much damage?
They're telling me it's total. I'm waiting to hear from the insurance company to get that.
So, Derek, what we have to figure out is, were they negligent by letting those keys be where they could be stolen like that? I mean, that could be.
Or was it an employee?
You know, well, either way, I mean, they could be negligent. Derek, in many cases, when something is stolen and a crime is committed, the dealership or the shop or wherever it is, they're not responsible any more than if you parked it at Walmart and went shopping, unless the dealership or the shop promised you security. Like, for example, some places say, hey, don't worry about it, we're going to keep it locked inside, blah, 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 and they lie about it. In those cases, they could be responsible. In most cases, they're not responsible for crime. But in your case, you said something very, very interesting. They stole the key off the board. Who told you that?
Police department.
Wow. So who would take the key off the board and steal it?
Also, the police department called me after I reported to say they had a 15-year-old kid going around doing this to other lots.
Uh-oh. Hey, John Fuller, do you think that dealership could be responsible for keeping the keys out like that where people can come and get it?
Well, wait a second. He didn't say they kept them out. He said he went into the thing and got them, right?
Right. The keys are stored on a board inside the repair facility.
Well,
the car was stored on the lot outside.
Right.
So whoever stole it had to go in, take the key off the board, then he came back the next day when they were closed and drove it off the lot.
So, do they have video of the kids stealing the keys too? I mean,
no, there are no cameras inside. The only video they have is of a person they can't identify driving off with the kid.
And they do know that the keys are missing, right?
Correct, because when I called, that's how they know, hey, did you come get your key, was what they asked me. Did you come get your car? And I'm like, no.
What dealership was it?
What dealership
Infinity of Denver.
Yeah.
It is kind of weird how they wouldn't know for a week, because when he drops it off, they assign it to someone, they get a ticket.
They said they were waiting on him to have the part
Now, Derek,
shipped in.
Derek, here's some good news, Derek. If you have full coverage and they cover you, that your insurance company, if they think Infinity is at fault, they will go after Infinity.
That's right.
And sue them. They will subrogate if they think they were at fault. So really, that's why we have insurance. But your loss would be, if you don't get the value, you'd have to fight for that. And then, do you have a deductible?
I think it's $100. But I have a second question.
Wait a minute. You got to have more than $100. If you have a $100 deductible, man, you're paying a lot in insurance.
I probably am, but I have a $100 deductible.
All right, keep going. What would you just say?
I have a second question on, suppose they total my value, they say my vehicle's total, and
right.
They cut me a check. My car was $60,000 brand new. I owe 5 payments left. It's only valued at like $20,000 now. They're going to cut me a check for $20,000 and say they're done. How am I made whole if I had a brand new vehicle, nothing wrong with it?
I know.
And now I got $20,000 to go buy a new car.
But no, you don't. Derek, remember now. Listen carefully, because I'm on your side. I promise you. But insurance for cars is not replacement value. It's actual cash value. There's a big difference. For example, on a house, a roof is usually replacement value. On a car, it's not replacement, it's actual cash value. So, Derek, here's the principle. Technically, for the money they pay you, you should be able to go out and find a similar car in similar condition and be made whole. No one is saying you should get a brand new car with 0 miles on it worth $60,000, but that's what you're insured for. That's what you're insured for.
They should also pay for that brand new throttle body. If you have the receipt for it, it sounds like that thing was over $1,000.
Right. They should pay all of your losses, your insurance company.
Anything in the car?
Now, you can go after the dealership yourself, but that would be foolish because you have full coverage. You should let your insurance company fight that battle.
John, you must run into this constantly.
Hold on one second, Derek. What we have to do is we have to determine value. But I promise you, Derek, you say it was a $60,000 car. Whatever it's worth, you're going to get whatever it's worth. We can maybe fight about it with them, but they're going to ultimately pay you what it's worth. And then theoretically, you should be able to replace what you had, not replace a brand new car. But I don't think anyone argues about that because you're not paying a premium for replacement value. Now, I'll tell you this. I think the world would be a better place and it would be worth the extra money because this argument goes on thousands and thousands of times a week. Why don't they just make auto insurance like homeowners?
It would cost a fortune to purchase.
No, wait. Maybe not. Maybe not, Mark. I mean, really, if you think about it, replacement cost, replacement value, you could choose it. You don't have to do it, but I think it should be an option. Then people don't have this argument anymore.
There's some policies that offer, like, for the first year your car's new, they'll replace it brand new.
I don't know of any. Do they have those? Those are good. All right, 303-713-8255. Frank Duran, therealestateman.com. The one, the only, the guy that will take care of you if you're buying or selling real estate. And in a good market, you truly need a great real estate broker to sift through the offers and not to let your house sit too long on the market because that gives it cooties and could really end up stinging you. Frank Duran, therealestateman.com, 303-920-1622.
This report is sponsored by Zero, Beautiful Accounting.
You must get that all the time every day. They only want to give me so-and-so. How about my car, John?
It's one of the most common complaints.
I think they should give people the option of replacement. Could be 7
after 104th Highway on 9th and Broadway to watch out for.
The guy in the battery, just like you guys know, he hung up. So I could call the place.
Thunderstorms today, only a 10% chance, a high near 65. Tonight, slight chance of
how many dudes should be complaining of a stolen battery in the shop?
Hopefully just the one guy. Because if there's multiple, we might have uncovered a battery ring.
30 K-How.
I don't even know what kind of car.
I had to put up cameras on my waste tires. You'll never guess why. You'll never guess why I put a camera on where I used to put our waste tires before they were picked up.
I'll bet you, because somebody were taking good tires and throwing them in there and then come back and get them.
People would show up and throw used tires in there, which I pay about $4 or $5 a piece for. I was convinced it was other shops.
Who was doing it?
No idea. And it continued to happen. You just see this guy in the middle of the night and throwing them in.
Well, it's like you park a throwaway garbage thing there.
Oh yeah, people throw shit in it.
I did that to a dog one night at the animal shelter.
We had a refrigerator downstairs here, and the refrigerator went out. And I'm like, all right, I got to get rid of this. They didn't want me putting it in their dumpster. So it was, it was a college. It was a 3/4. So I pull up behind this tool place. What's that cheap tool place? Harbor Freight.
And it's wonderful.
And they've got a big dumpster out back. So I just about got it in, and that door opens up. I was looking at me. That's how I got rid of our fridge downstairs.
Craigslist will take that. Let me tell you.
No one's coming to pick up a 3/4 broken college fridge.
Absolutely. Because Craigslist. I got rid of tons of stuff.
What's the strangest thing you got rid of?
Old toilets.
That is pretty fucking strange.
I'm sorry?
Where's Deputy Clinton?
I think his wife had something.
So you switched out toilets and people came and picked up your old ones?
Like this.
Like that?
Yeah. Oh, you're on in 10 minutes, boom. It was.
That's incredible. What do you mean 10 minutes? I'm listing it on Craigslist?
I'm listing Craigslist for free.
And they called.
Wait a minute. And in 10 minutes after listing it,
they called.
They called and, or...
CentryRV.com. If you're looking for a new or used RV, and better yet, a service department, the service department is at their north location on I-25 and the 119 turnoff to Longmont. Plus, they have new and used. Then we have a place out west, indoor, 32,000 square feet, new and used. And that's just north of 6th Avenue between Kipling and Sims, next to Woodley's. Welcome to the show. I'm Tom Martino. Let's talk. Now, God, I'm so sorry for Derek. He had a beautiful car in perfect condition, and it was totaled. John, how often, John Fuller is an attorney at law, he does personal injury, but a lot of times when it involves, of course, motor vehicle accidents, property damage is a big part of that, and even though they hire you for personal injury, obviously, they're upset about their property damage. Doesn't that happen all the time?
It happens all the time, Tom.
Because they want to get a fair settlement.
Well, and you know, I totally understand it. People have cars that are almost paid off or paid off, like Derek's car.
He only has 5 payments left.
They busted their tail to get it paid off. They've maintained it well, and then all of a sudden it's gone. You can't go out and replace, you know, let's say that's a pristine car that you've taken, you know, great care of. You can't go out and replace that car, no matter what the books say it's worth. You can't go literally find that car to buy again.
That's right. But he may find, you know, God willing, he might find something close, but it's very difficult.
Well, he should find something close, though, if they give him the correct amount of money.
It's 24,000 miles on it, just so you know, guys.
Oh, no. Well, hold on. But
you can find, no matter where they are, that support what you think is the value of your car. And as soon as they tell you what they've appraised it at, tell them you would like to see the report and the analysis of the value of it, and you compare your comps to their comps, and I guarantee you'll find a different suggested value.
Okay, so then do I need, if I disagree with what they come with, do I just get a lawyer and then fight them on it, or what?
Well, I have a hard time getting a lawyer on that issue alone. I tell people that the best you can do is to be mildly offended at the end of your negotiations, but if you have better comps, they'll have to acknowledge those and look at the value of your comps and why you think those comps are better.
Now, you know, it's your insurance company, so you can force the appraisal process, which means that you get to get your expert and they get their expert, and they arbitrate this thing if you can't come to an agreement. I don't think it's worth getting an attorney, Derek, because you're not going to get attorney's fees.
Because this was criminal, John, and someone stole his car. Let's say they caught this guy. He puts it through his own insurance. They give him $20,000. Can he go after restitution from the guy they caught for the additional expenses, say $5,000 or whatever they were?
No, generally not.
Because then your insurance would end up getting it?
Well, the restitution is for stuff that hasn't been covered by insurance, and the law says basically that the criminal court shouldn't impose restitution when there's a complying policy of insurance. So you're better off letting your insurance company subrogate against the guy. They'll go after him. You know, you move on and save the hassle.
What, it's an Infiniti, you said?
Yes, sir.
We need to find someone to appraise this car for him.
I used, down in Colorado Springs, man, Janicelli did a great job. I sent him the VIN number from mine, and he pulled, you know, he's part of the Deal and Doug group. They got used cars everywhere.
Derek, we'll give you some contact information, but here's what I want to do to help you, okay? First and foremost, let your insurance company go after the dealership. It's really, or the place. It's not worth trying to do it on your own because you're not going to recover attorney's fees. The other thing is this. You don't have to settle for what they tell you your car is worth. You can, when you have a pristine car with 24,000 miles, they can't just go by the book. They have to go by what it's worth. But you got to get out of your head replacement because you're not going to get replacement value. Now, excuse me, you are going to get replacement value, but not new car replacement. You're going to get whatever it was worth. Now, David, what is your comment for Derek?
Don't some insurance companies have like a stated value policies where rather than just saying, hey, I have comp collision liability, you can establish an
usually for classic cars
for like $40,000 or $50,000.
You're not allowed to over-insure anything, okay? You have to cover it for what it's worth. Stated value, technically, is supposed to be what it's worth. You can't just take a car and because you love it, put an inflated stated value because they don't want people buying a piece of crap stating a high value and then having it stolen or something. So even though it's called stated value, David, you still have to have something that supports it, either an appraiser or something. And that's usually for classic and old cars. I've never heard of anyone using stated value on newer vehicles because they won't cover.
Liberty Mutual has a policy that provides you with money for a brand new car, not the depreciated value, if the car is less than 1 year old and less than 15,000 miles. So then you get new car replacement.
That's very rare, though. I mean,
and plus you pay for it.
Yeah. But I think it's about time, though, people look at different kinds of options here. 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. Suzanne, get Derek's information so we can give him Janicelli's information.
Can you have a bond, John? Maybe you're the one to ask. So
John
instead
Fuller,
of carrying the minimum, which is in Colorado, what, 25,000, 50 per?
25,000. Yep.
Can you put up a bond somewhere and you insure yourself?
Yes, you can.
Have you ever ran into that?
No, I have not run into that in an accident.
It used to be in New York State you had to have a net value, you had a net worth of liquid of $250,000 to bond, and there are self-insured places, but I don't know what the amount is. John, this is an email to you. I hit a deer Friday night at 75 miles an hour. Totaled my truck. My insurance policy has UNIM.
It's probably UM and UIM. That's
yes,
uninsured motorist and underinsured motorist.
And animal coverage, meaning collision with animals, I guess. But on a different, my insurance policy has both UMIM and animal coverage, but on a different vehicle. Am I out of luck, though? Or can I use it with this? It's the same policy, but different vehicle.
So UM and UIM would cover you in the event that there was another negligent driver that caused the accident. It would not cover the negligence of the deer running out in front of you.
But the deer doesn't have insurance.
The deer has no insurance.
But it doesn't cover that.
It doesn't cover that.
What about the animal coverage?
The animal coverage, I'm really not familiar with an animal
I've never heard
clause
of it.
on an insurance policy.
I've never heard
but
of it.
I would say the policy language, you'd have to review that very carefully and see what it covers, but I've yet to see an animal rider on an auto
from another vehicle. Now listen, a budget A1 transmission and auto repair will tear apart, open up your transmission free of charge if they suspect a transmission problem. So if you're having noises and stuff, you come in, they give you 1 hour free diagnostics anyway. If it turns out they believe you have a transmission problem, they will give you an estimate, but to ensure it, they will tear down and open it up free of charge. Free of charge. If you decide to have it fixed, that tear down and inspection is still free. If you decide to take the parts and the car somewhere else to be fixed, it's still free of charge. The only time you're charged is if you want to put it back together and just run it the way it was, okay? And that's very rare because to begin with, they want to make sure you want to fix it. But let's say it's just too much.